DJ Genesis, Detroit. Truth in the algorithm. Welcome to the live stream.
Yo, live stream junkie with the mic turned on, breaking down the matrix while the lights stay on. Politics, religion, yeah, we question every claim, while the media playing narratives and shifting every frame. Ancestors speaking through the wisdom of Ifa, cosmic knowledge shining like a distant star. From Detroit to the world on a digital stage, dropping truth bombs every time I hit the page.
Welcome to the channel where the truth get deployed.
DJ Genesis live from Detroit,
Breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed.
tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
Welcome to the channel.
Where the truth get deployed,
DJ Genesis live from Detroit.
breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed. Tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
Debates on fire, got the comments going crazy. Asking questions that the system can't face me. From ancient civilizations to the modern day lies, connecting dots that they hide from the public eye.
Knowledge of self, yeah, the ancestors guide. When the full moon rising for the spiritual tide.
It's the place where the truth gets exposed.
Every live stream, another chapter unfolds.
To the channel. Welcome to the channel where the
Truth get deployed,
DJ Genesis live from Detroit.
breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed. Tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
DJ Genesis Detroit. Truth seekers unite, 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 unite. Stay away, stay away, stay away. Stay questioning.
Listen, guys, while all this nonsense is happening in Africa, I mean, in the Middle East, it's so much thing. I'm not even gonna just talk too much. I'm gonna just play it. Let's go.
I would interview Gaddafi. Do you ever hear Russell Crowe talk about Gaddafi? We talked about why they wanted to get rid of Gaddafi. Like, well, they talked about how evil Gaddafi was and how he subjugated his people. Here it is.
So we are taught, for example, to regard Gaddafi in a certain way. Okay. But if you look into what happened in his country while he was the leader, you look into the fact that every person is given a house at a certain age. You look at the fact that everybody's education and healthcare is free. You look at if somebody showed a particular talent for something that required further education overseas, all of the costs of that were paid for by the government. Now, these are all things put in place by the same country's leader that we're told is evil and corrupt.
Yeah.
So it doesn't quite balance.
There are moments in the relationship between the West and Africa we can now look back on and call destabilization. Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, and Gaddafi, all sitting safely in the past, where figures like Joe Rogan and Russell Crowe can finally say publicly, hey, maybe that was suspicious. Maybe that was wrong. Maybe the West got it wrong. Maybe there was meddling. But by the time we get there and people say these things out loud, Gaddafi is already dead. Libya is already destroyed. Open slave markets are still shipping Africans into the Middle East. See, the world did not care then, and it doesn't really matter now after the deed is done. And there's a problem with all of this because the same playbook is running again right now. So rather than catching it after it's too late, I want to make a video to try and catch it before, to point out where it's happening before the worst happens. In this video, we're going to explore some troubling, new emerging information that is surrounding Ibrahim Traore. This is not the same.
Now, listen, the views that are said in this video is not my own views. I'm just playing this. This is for conversation purposes only. If anybody wants to come up, let me just do my StreamYard click. Listen. I want to hear what people are saying about what's going on in Africa during this whole situation. And I want to get some real feedback from people. So this is what he's going to say. Let's go about Ibrahim Traore. Let's go.
Old story of how there's been assassination attempts and how there's a threat on his life. I'm going to point out brand new actions put forward by the West that, in my opinion, and I'll leave it up to you viewers to decide, shows the pre-Gaddafi situation happening all over again. So by now, particularly anyone that watches this channel knows who Ibrahim Traore is. He's 37 years old and he took power of Burkina Faso in September 2022. He kicked out 5,000 French soldiers. He exited
Wow, he's only 37. That's crazy.
ECOWAS and built the Alliance of Sahel State, which includes Mali and Niger and Burkina Faso. In 2024 and 2025, stories about Ibrahim Traore were everywhere in this space of YouTube. There was protests in Ouagadougou, Accra, London, viral concern after multiple coup attempts on his life. In 2026, the noise has died down. There's a real fatigue around the story, even though his struggle still continues and he's very much active. This drop in global attention is exactly where the narrative assault gets reloaded, because an unwatched or reduced attention leader is easier to remove. So 5 days ago, as of recording this video, Human Rights Watch published a report called None Can Run Away, which accused Traore's military of war crimes and ethnic cleansing of the Fulani civilians in his country. The numbers they've published are 1,837 civilians killed between January 23 and August 25, more than 1,200 attributed to government forces, 2 million people displaced, and 57 verified incidents, 450 interviews across 5 countries. Human Rights Watch, also known as HRW, named Traore himself as a supreme commander alongside 6 senior officers, saying they may be liable for grave abuses and should be investigated. The very next day, April 3rd, 4 days as of recording this video, Al Jazeera ran a headline, Traore says, "Forget democracy," quoting him calling democracy slavery. That is 2 coordinated narratives hit within 48 hours. One paints him as a war criminal, the other paints him as an anti-democratic strongman. I just want to take a quick moment to thank everybody that has subscribed to my Substack.
You know what's so crazy is that people will say anti-democratic, but then in the United States, they are anti-democratic. So they're going to say he's anti-democratic, but then in America, you have Trump saying the Democrats are the reason why everything's going on. The Democrats are why. The Democrats. So what is really going on? Anti-democratic. What is this? Like what?
I really appreciate the support. If you're out there and you want to support this message of African sovereignty, then I highly recommend that you head over there as well. On a platform like YouTube, a message like this can be shadow banned. I could even be deplatformed. It's happened to others in this space already. But if you subscribe to my newsletter, it means that you and I can have a direct dialogue via email without.
Please support his channel. Please support this channel. I think he has, hold on. Let me see what let me just do this for 1 second. Called the Subi Shop. Okay. Please support the Subi Shop. Okay. This is where we're getting this information from. Let's go.
Any intermediary that may want to censor this message. There is a paid tier if you want to support financially. That's about the cost of a coffee each month. But if you don't want to do that, there's a free tier. And so even if it's just for the purposes of keeping this message alive, you can go and subscribe totally for free. The link is in the description right now. And I look forward to connecting with you via email directly real soon. This is the exact same pattern we saw with Gaddafi in the months before NATO bombs fell on Tripoli in 2011. Early 2011, Western media reported mass civilian killings in Benghazi. UN resolution said 1,973 people passed. Then NATO started bombing at the beginning of March 19th, and Gaddafi was dead by October 20th. Under 9 months from headline to corpse. Before that intervention, Libya held the highest human rights development index in Africa, free healthcare, free education, $50,000 housing grants for newlyweds, 0 national debt, and a gold-backed.
No, it's not AI slop. This is a real person. Okay, that is doing this information. It's not AI.
It's a Pan-African Currency Development Program, which is probably the real reason why Gaddafi was taken out. Now, after Gaddafi was taken out, we're talking about a failed state, 2 competing governments that are just committing all kinds of crimes. There's open slave auctions documented on many places, including CNN. There are oil fields which are now under Western contracts, hundreds of thousands of migrants trapped. And here is the overlooked part. The West did not do that alone. They bankrolled Islamist rebel groups, including the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group. And many of those fighters later rebranded as ISIS and Al-Qaeda, spreading across the entire Sahel region. The Al-Qaeda-linked Jainim and the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara, the same groups now killing civilians in Burkina Faso and giving the HRW its talking points, are direct descendants of the fighters the UK, France, and the United States armed almost 15 years ago. Now, you do not have to believe that Western governments are directly funding these groups today if you don't want. But what is documented and acknowledged is that the West has used extremist military groups and proxies when it suits them. And then we can look at what's happening in Iran right now. The same dishonesty, the same propaganda, the same disregard for basic facts to justify military action. While the proxies do their work inside Burkina Faso, the West is building a military ring around Traore using African allies. The US deployed 100 soldiers, for example, to Nigeria in February. Ghana signed a new security partnership with the EU. The Ivory Coast still hosts French forces expelled from the Sahel. Drone bases are spreading across the region. This is the exact same encirclement model that the US used in Iran with the other Gulf states, Bahrain, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, surrounding a target with allied launch pads before the strike actually happens. Here is the bigger strategic picture. Traoré is not alone. We have Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso all linked together in the Alliance of Sahel states, all kicked out the French. All of them left ECOWAS and formed their own group. Niger holds 5% of the world's uranium reserves and did supply 20% of the EU's uranium for years. Mali has lithium. Burkina Faso has gold. With Iran's war squeezing global fuel energy supplies right now, Europe needs that uranium more than ever. And the AES has been renegotiating every contract France took for granted. Destroying Traoré cuts the head of Africa's leading sovereignty movement. The only serious attempt in our generation to recalibrate the relationship with Western neocolonial setup that has stifled African development for 60 years, 100 years or more. Take him down and the AES wobbles. Mali and Niger lose their strongest ally. The whole project unravels. And this is the prize. Burkina Faso produced 96.6 tons of gold in Africa in 2023 alone. Lamb Gold, Endeavour Mining, and Orezone Gold all hold the concessions Traoré has been renegotiating since 2023. So there's basically lots of mineral wealth up for grabs if you can control that region. The likelihood is, in a place like Iran, for example, there are things that are bad that are happening, people being killed and all of those things happen. Maybe the same can be said for Burkina Faso. But the truth is that they don't care about that. They just use that as a narrative to get to the resources, which is their real goal. I don't think that's even in dispute anymore.
And if anyone's thinking this is AI, this is a real person talking, and he's talking about what's going on in Africa, please do not think this is AI. You can see the cuts. You can see that he might have made a mistake. This is not AI.
Everybody understands that playbook. North Korea can do all of the crimes it wants. Nobody seems to want to invade them. Maybe it's because they have nuclear capabilities. A place in the global south that has been under the thumb of the West for years becomes low-hanging fruit and an easy target for the West to say whatever they want and take whatever they want in whatever means they want. And it seems that the world will pretty much do nothing about that. Libya is the case example here. So every African should be on high alert right now, particularly when these news articles that I pointed out have come out. This kind of propaganda against Traoré being so terrible. Retrospective regret never brought Lumumba back. It never brought Nkrumah back. It never brought Sankara back. It never brought Gaddafi back. The question is whether Africans will recognize the pattern and take time to break it, and whether the Alliance of Sahel states can hold the line before the bombs start falling. I don't personally want to watch another video of Joe Rogan where someone says, hey, you know, they took out this guy, and Joe Rogan is there saying, hey, yeah, well, maybe he wasn't as bad as we thought. Maybe it was a mistake. You know, I would interview him. Let's have him be interviewed now. Let's have the protection be given now. Let's have the outcry and the attention be on him now before it's too late. About the way that the West has encircled Burkina Faso for their own personal gain, I recommend you watch the video that you're seeing on the screen right now. I'll catch you over there next. Peace.
Yeah, please go ahead and check out more information from this channel. Like I said, it was called, let me go back. It's called the Subi Shop. Please support his channel. So let's go into the next video where I want to go into Trump's final message to Africa. We don't even realize that Trump is, while he's doing everything in Iran, he's also attacking, threatening Africa. So let's go into what's actually happening. Let's go.
So the president of the United States of America, Trump, is beginning to speak very differently when it comes to the continent of Africa and how he feels and the potential that he sees when it comes to what's really going on over here. Now, this is completely different from what we've heard in the past. Maybe the reality is starting to set in for them and they're starting to see like, okay, we really need them. They really always knew that, but now things are really starting to turn and people are starting to see that Africa is not backing down. Africa is standing strong for what we have and what we believe in. But I'm going to let you guys hear what he had to say yourself. Listen to what he had to say real quick, and we'll be right back with a little bit of commentary, okay?
Big advantage. But Africa has tremendous value in its land. And if they can unify and get together, I think it's got tremendous potential. I have a lot of very smart friends that they're putting everything into Africa.
Now, did you guys hear that? That's completely different from what he said in 2018 when he said S whole continent or S whole country. Things are changing. They're starting to see that, okay, yeah, let's see if we can do things the right way now. He said Africa.
So meanwhile, Trump is saying he has a lot of friends investing in Africa, but then you have the FBA movement that is going against Africa. So I want you guys to pay attention to this. While we're being pushed to say that we have no ties to Africa, investors are going into Africa and investing in it. I want y'all to pay attention to this really quick.
Has tremendous potential if the continent works together. That's the most important part that we need to listen to and really pay attention to. If we work together, we can reach the potential that we have in place. Now, I'm not just, Donald Trump said it, so it must be true. No, I've been advocating for this since 2020, before Trump even got back into office. So I strongly believe that this is what really needs to take place. But now more and more leaders, or whatever you want to call them, are starting to speak the truth about what really needs to be done. We no longer have time to fight each other about trivial things, fight each other about small stuff that do not matter. We have to come together because our continent has a lot of potential. Now, he was saying this at the Future Investment Initiative, an event that was highlighting all of the resources and economic opportunities that are over here on the continent of Africa. And he also pointed to growing investors' interest, saying some of his close friends, his smart friends, said, hey, Mr. Trump, it's time for you to start looking into Africa. And
so while some of Trump's close friends and smart investors are saying, hey, it's time for you to look into Africa. Meanwhile, what are we doing? We're looking away from Africa. We're trying to find a way to separate, right? With this whole movement of people. And so while we're looking toward America, they're looking at Africa. What do you think that's about? You can't tell me that there's not a reason for that, but let's go.
A lot of people are putting their money into Africa. A lot of millionaires and billionaires are finding ways for them to strategically invest into the continent of Africa. And I'm seeing it myself within the real estate sector. We've had a lot of inquiries about beach plot properties, about properties that need to be refurbished, and so much more. So there are more and more people that is looking over here to the continent to say, let me put my money over there. Let me really take a chance. Let me really see what's possible and the potential of what's going on the ground. But before I go any further, listen, if you're someone who's thinking of coming to the continent of Africa, I've created a free exclusive mini guide that gives you the most important information that you need to know before visiting or moving over here. So if you're someone who wants detailed information to get help to come over here, click the link down in the description box and you will get it sent directly to your inbox, okay? But let me get back to the point. Let's talk about some of the statistics that are out right now in regards to the foreign direct investment that came into the continent of Africa. Now, in 2024, FDI, which is foreign direct investment, hit a record high with Eastern and Southern Africa leading at $65 billion United States dollars. Yes, $65 billion was invested into the continent of Africa in 2024. Now, the UAE is a top capital investor with $44 billion, while the U.S. leads in projects count, which is about 89 that's focused on tech and business services. Now, European nations hold the largest overall FDI stock, while the UAE is the top single country capital provider. And after the UAE, you got the UK, and then you have China. Now, a lot of these major investment hubs include Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, Mozambique, Morocco, and primarily in renewable energy and construction. And we cannot forget about East Africa as one of the regions that's benefiting from the investments that's coming into the continent of Africa. Now, what President Trump said is true. We have so much potential over here, but it's up to us to really come together and build with one another. That's the only way that it's going to work. I normally don't champion what Trump has to say. I haven't agreed with many of the things that he said about the continent of Africa. But in this moment, he was actually speaking the truth. But it's really up to us to settle our differences, to really lock arms and not allow the things of the past to stop us from moving forward strategically. We're positioning ourselves during these times. There's so much talking that's going on, but there's also a lot of building too. And there's a lot of, people that are afraid of locking arms with each other because of how we've been taught, how we've been trained to work with one another, and the way that we have dealt with each other in the past. And that's definitely understandable. But we have to change it somehow. We can't continue to be afraid and not take these chances, because we see there are other nations taking chances. Other people are investing here. Other countries are saying, let's take a chance. So why aren't we taking a chance? Why aren't more of us saying, okay, let me take this leap of faith? I've seen a lot of us do it in my 6 years. There are a lot of us from the diaspora that are opening up businesses. And I know a lot of us don't have as much access to capital. And I know a lot of all of those different things. But I do know the God that we serve, and I do know the gifts that we have within us. And I do know that if you partner with the right people, if you move in the right circles, if you develop yourself in the right way, then you will be able to be a part of this building that's happening. But it's solely up to you and us for us to really do the necessary work to make this happen. We can keep talking about it all day. We can sit on these platforms and discuss what can be done, see some of the growth potential, and continue to complain about all of the other nations taking advantage. But we still have a clear advantage when it comes to us getting back connected to our brothers and sisters over here. These are our brothers and sisters. That is our advantage. They still love us. They still want to get connected with us, and they prefer to build with us. But if all of the other nations are the only ones coming with the capital, they're the only ones willing to take the risk, they're the only ones betting on Africa, then what are they supposed to do? People are complaining about, oh, they're coming over and they're taking over Africa, but they're sitting in their country comfortable and not coming to take a risk for themselves. So we can't complain about what we see other people doing if we aren't taking the risk ourselves. Now, speaking of taking risk, my wife and I, we're hosting a boot camp coming up on May the 3rd that's preparing people who are serious about coming over to the continent. So if you're someone who wants to figure out what you need to do to come over here successfully, make sure you join us for our 6-week boot camp. We will be meeting virtually once a week, and also in a WhatsApp accountability group to build around like-minded individuals to create a community so that we can come over here successfully, okay? So if you're serious about coming over here and you want to build the necessary foundation, make sure you join us so that we can help you out, okay? We will see all of the serious people there. Now, the rhetoric has shifted drastically within the past 6 months in regards to how Trump feels about Africa, in regards to what the world think about Africa. The world knows the truth. Everyone else knows the truth. We're the ones that's late to the party, but we're getting there. Like they say here in Tanzania, kidogo, kidogo. These mosquitoes are starting to pull up, and oh man, they get me good. I need to hurry up and wrap this up. But yeah, we're getting there, kidogo, kidogo, and we're working towards coming together. We're working towards thinking and building over here. There's a lot of us taking risk. I've seen a lot of us in many of the countries that's saying, you know what, whatever we're dealing with, we're still going to build. I've seen people building in Ghana. I've seen people building in South Africa. I've seen people building in Nigeria. I've seen people building in Burkina Faso, believe it or not, within the diaspora. And of course, foreigners as well. Kenya, Tanzania, we're everywhere. Egypt, we're everywhere trying to build and do something. So we just need more people to take the risk, more people to take advantage of the opportunities, because this is the new gold rush. We remember reading about the gold rush in San Francisco in the past, about how people ran over and positioned themselves over in San Francisco to be able to take advantage of the gold that they found. And now we have access to an entire continent that is technically ours. We just have to come here and boldly get into position and claim our right to what's ours. Now, sometimes you have to invest money. Yes, nothing will be handed to us. Nothing. Don't expect a handout. Think about building, think about working, thinking about connecting, think about bringing your tools, everything that you've built, everything that you've learned, everything that's within you, bring that here and add that to what's going on. Get connected with our brothers and sisters and develop something. It's easy as that in hindsight. You can do it like that, but it's work that needs to be done. Now, it's easy to do it, but there's still a process for it to get done, and make sure I'm clear. When I say easy, I mean you can do it. You can do it. It's hard, but it's doable. There's going to be some challenges. There's going to be some ups and downs and some things that you don't understand, but it's definitely doable. So let's take advantage now, guys. The tide is turning. You see Trump is speaking like this, and I don't think he's going to change back to the craziness, because they just lost the war. Things aren't looking too good. I think they've been knocked off their high horse. They're starting to see reality and see that, okay, I need to trade properly. We need to have some respect around the world. We need to apologize for what we've done. We need to start trying to move a little bit differently before we lose everything. Now, if you are someone who's watching this and you're thinking about coming to Africa, you've been thinking about this and trying to build over here, this should be more confirmation for you. Now, some people need to see people like that, say things like that in order for them to really believe in something. Unfortunately, that's just the world that we live in, because we've been watching them on TV for so long, and they feel like, okay, let's see what they have to say. If they don't agree with it, if no one from America says it's okay, then I'm not going to take a chance. But someone from America, the president of America right now, has said, hey, there's tremendous potential over on the continent of Africa. They just have to unify and stick together. He said it out of his own mouth. So now what are you going to do? Are you still going to believe the lies, believe the mess when they say there's nothing happening over here, there isn't much development? Are you going to believe those things? Or are you going to really look at where the money is going? Trump is a businessman. Trump has a lot of money. He has a lot of friends with money, and they're working on building some big things. So with that, listen to what's happening. The world is changing, people. The world is changing. Things are getting more and more clear in regards to the opportunity, in regards to what we have access to, in regards to how we can build, in regards to the way that we can do things. Things are changing. And the only way you're going to be able to build something for yourself during these times is if you take a risk. You're going to have to take a risk. No risk, no reward. If you continue to stay in that system, in that environment, continue to work your job, and continue to barely get by, continue to trust in that way, you won't be able to take advantage of what's coming down the pipeline. There's real development. There's real opportunity that's over here on the continent of Africa, man. Guys, from the last 6 years where I've been over here in Tanzania, I've seen so much growth and development within these just 6 years. Buildings have shot up, apartments have shot up, price of land have shot up, price of properties have shot up, price for material have shot up, because there's so much growth and development. When I came over here to the continent of Africa in 2020, Tanzania was still considered a third world country. Now I've watched it grow to an emerging economy. I'm in the middle of watching it grow to an emerging economy. I'm watching it happen. I'm seeing roads being put in place. I'm seeing bus lines being built. I'm seeing railroads being built. I'm watching all of this. I'm seeing pipelines being put in place. There's so much development happening on the continent. You just have to believe in yourself and position yourself in the right industry based off of your skill set, based off of the gifts that you have, so that you can be able to take advantage, okay? There's going to be some tough moments. It's going to be scary, but you still have to walk through it with your head up high and understanding the mission that you have put in place. Understand you have to go through the immigration process. Understand you have to go through the residency. Understand you have to go through the permit process. Understand all of that, because that is what's going to help you to get an understanding, and then you can turn around and help those if you want to, or keep pressing forward and build on top of what you've done. But don't just come over here off pure emotions, thinking that, oh, I'm home. Oh, let's do it. Oh, let's build. I'm black and I'm proud. Let's work. Let's work. No, good brother, sister. No, man, put some skin in the game and really come over here and build and try to connect and bring your gift to the table, okay? So, yeah, Trump is changing the way he thinks, changing the way he's speaking about our continent, and it's time for that. It's long overdue. We've been speaking and preaching this since our forefathers from Nyerere, from Nkrumah, Sankara, all of them. We've been seeing it this entire time. And now the world is going to start having to put some respect on the continent because of forefathers like that didn't give up. They planted the seeds of us staying strong. They planted the seeds of us positioning ourselves so that we can be able to fully take advantage of what's on our continent, which is our sovereign right. That's the sovereign right of someone who has land, who it belongs to them. They should be able to do with it what they please. And we are getting closer to that. It's been a long fight of us fighting the colonial rules that's been put in place. But thankfully, we've had many leaders who haven't given up. They sacrificed their time, effort, and energy, their platforms to speak truth to power. So we just continue to bring the mantle forward. We got to continue to do our part. You watching content like this, you're someone who have to take the mantle to the next level. You have to do your part and continue to press this forward. This is just the first phase of the changing of the narrative in regards to our continent. We've been at the forefront of working something like this for a long time, not just myself and my family. Before us, there's been leaders who've come over here in the 1900s, 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Each decade we're coming. We're just the ones with the social media now. We're just the ones that's doing this leg of it. But there's still work that needs to be done. So we need all hands on deck, those who are serious and focused and really believe in the continent. Take a chance on yourself. Take a chance on our motherland. Come over here, build, get connected. Let's work. Let's do what we have to do, all right? Don't be afraid of the times. I know it's crazy out there, but there's still opportunity if you just look between the lines, okay? Now, let me know down in the comment box what you think about what Trump had to say. Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? How do you feel? Do you feel bubbly about it, or do you not even care? Please let me know what you think down in the comment box. And if you haven't already, I don't know why, but do me a favor and hit the subscribe button so that you can help us reach the goals that we have in place, and you can help us get this message out to more people so that they can see what's really going on the continent of Africa and see some of the real estate opportunities that's here in Dar es Salaam, okay? And also, if you want one-on-one help with coming over here to the continent of Africa, I have time within my schedule every day that I set aside to help those who are interested with getting help with coming over here, all right? So if you want to get help, click the link down in the description box to book a time so that we can get on a call and I can help you out, okay? Now, if you made it to this point, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. And I hope this content was able to bring you some value and you really see what we can do and understand that we can build something for ourselves over here, all right? Trump is changing the narrative. I agree with him at some point now. You know, maybe hopefully he keeps saying wise things. Hopefully there's a more than slap some sense into him and he really understands the truth about the world now. But we're going to see. But yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for your
So that is T3 and me. If you guys are interested, please reach out to them. These are also my friends. Listen, when it comes down to it, you know, there's people that have negative things to say about them, but we're not going to go into that. You know, you have other like people, I'm not going to say their names, that like to demonize them, but at the end of the day, they have like the best interest at heart. So they've been there for a long period of time. They know how to repatriate. So if you want to repatriate to Africa, contact them and get the information. Shouts out to T3 and me. So let's go to the next thing. And this is Dynast Amir. And he has several trips to Africa throughout the year where you can go all throughout. So he has one trip coming up. He has one in Nigeria, one coming up in Senegal. So he is constantly like doing trips to Africa. If you are unsure about what you want to do as far as like moving there permanently, this is a good step to be able to go over there and see what it's like. So please support him as well. So let's go. So in this thing, he is talking about Nigeria. Right? So why is Nigeria? This is a search for Uhuru. Okay. Please support his channel. Search for Uhuru. But he's going to talk about Nigeria being a superpower. Let's go.
Foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa, native to Yoruba land, Nigeria. With Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
History isn't just what happened, it's who we are. And now you can explore Africa's incredible past like never before. Introducing the new and engaging course catalog from aelearning.net, a world-class provider of interactive e-learning focused on Africa's rich and diverse history. From the rise of ancient Nubia and the power of the Mali Empire, to the architectural wonders of Egypt and the development of astrological knowledge by the Dogon people, each self-paced course brings history to life through stunning visuals, immersive video lessons, and interactive assessments.
What do you mean that someone is trying to get us to go back? Who gives a fuck? If Africa has opportunities where we don't have none here, are you saying that we should stay here and try to force this government to continue to give opportunities when they don't want to do it? I mean, I don't know. Africa has it's a continent. It has different like places you can go there and, you know, find yourself. I would say this is that it's not about whether or not the African people want you there or not. It's about you going there for yourself, not for anything else. That's what I would do. I wouldn't go there because someone else wanted me to go there. Let's go.
Designed for students, educators, and lifelong learners around the world, AE Learning's courses make discovering Africa's story easier, deeper, and more engaging than ever. With AE Learning, education meets flexibility. Whether you're a student, teacher, or lifelong learner, our platform gives you access to credible knowledge, rich multimedia lessons, and tools that make learning African history engaging and unforgettable. Join thousands of learners already rediscovering Africa's past and shaping its future. Visit www.aelearning.net today. Start your journey through Africa's past today, because the story of Africa is the story of us all. AE Learning, inspiration through high-quality education.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Hulu. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Hit that like button and please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I got a couple of announcements. We are rolling to, where are we going? We're going to Senegal in a month. Today is April 9th already. Wow. So yeah, we are rolling to Senegal in a month. If you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo, that's DANFO.Africa. Again, please visit Danfo, that's DANFO.Africa to learn more. We would love to host you and show you some teranga in Senegal and eat some good Senegalese food, the best jollof rice in the world. We're going to have it. So if you'd like to join us, please visit Danfo.Africa. Also, we are rolling to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival, Zanzibar in September for Safari Blue. Oh, thank you. Here we go. Gustavo, thank you for $2.
They speak English in Africa, sir. I'm not saying to go to certain places in Africa where they can't speak, but you can like look up and see where do they speak English more prominently at and go to that country. Let's not pretend like Africa is it's a continent. It has different areas, you know, that were colonized by different, you know, Europe, France, etc. There's no reason to be afraid that if you speak English that they can't. Most Africans are polyglots unless you go into the certain areas where it's more tribal. Okay.
Hala. Ghana is the most important country in Africa. In the words of I forgot his name. College football commentator. He says, not so fast, my friend. No. The most important country is Nigeria. Even with all the issues going on in Nigeria, if Nigeria fails, all Africa fails. If Africa fails, the black race is finished. Hard stop. I don't care if you consider yourself FBA, ADOS, Solan. No. The best jollof rice is in Senegal. You go Senegal, then you have Liberia, Sierra Leone, Liberia. It can go either way. Then you got like Cameroon, some other countries. Like Ghana and Nigeria are kind of at the bottom when it comes to jollof rice. So yeah.
Thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you. Let's go. Let's play a little bit.
I am blessed to make money, money making money, money making money, money making money, money making money, manifest making money, money making money, money making money, money making money.
Definitely not. No, not the best. Jollof rice. And yes, Nigeria is the most important country. Now, when it comes to jollof rice between Nigeria and Ghana, you know, it could go either way. Again, it could go either way when it comes to jollof rice. And yeah, exactly. Put way too many tomatoes and, you know, way too much spicy tomato paste or whatever in Ghana and Nigeria. Just way too many tomatoes in the sauce. Nigeria has already failed. No, it hasn't. I'm gonna say this: the Southwest and the South, but really the Southwest is saving Nigeria. That's what's saving Nigeria right now. The Southwest. Oh man, Bethune Cookman's baseball team just beat LSU. LSU's baseball team is one of the best historically in college. So yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, but yeah, so hit that like button, visit Danfo.Africa. Shout out, let me give a special shout out to Gustaffer. Gustaffer, he's been supporting a lot. Gustaffer, we appreciate you. Even though you're delusional, with Ghana has the best jollof rice. You're a little delusional, but that's okay. That's okay. We all have delusions of grandeur at times. Again, at times we all have delusion of grandeur. And guess what? Go Dogs, y'all. Go Georgia Bulldogs. We're going to win a national championship this year. We are going to win the national championship this year in college football. Watch what we do. It's going to happen. We win the national championship this year in college football. So yeah, let's jump into today's topic. There's a lot going on in the Middle East, and especially when it comes to oil. And guess what? That is prime. Oh, oops, hold up. Okay, here we go. Okay, never mind. That is prime opportunity for Nigeria to exploit this, for Dangote to fill in the gaps and exploit what's going on right now in the Middle East when it comes to oil and gas. Let's watch this piece, this news segment.
When I used to think about taxes, I would just cringe.
Fair use.
I used to use
Nigeria's Dangote petroleum refinery has stepped up exports across Africa amid supply disruptions due to Iran war. Data from tanker tracking firm Kepler shows Nigeria's exports of clean petroleum products, including petrol, diesel, kerosene, and jet fuel, have risen to about 214,000 barrels per day in March so far, whereas shipments to other African countries have climbed to about 90,000 barrels per day. This is a significant uptick from previous levels. The sales mark Dangote's first exports of petrol since the plant reached full capacity in February. Shipments have been delivered to countries like Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Tanzania, Ghana, and Togo. The escalating West Asia conflict has pushed up global crude prices, raising refining costs worldwide. Meanwhile, shipping disruptions and tied to Europe Gulf supplies cut cheap fuel flows into West Africa, opening doors for short-distance suppliers. For more on this, our correspondent Louisa Olani has sent us this report from Lagos. Take a look.
For decades, West Africa relied on expensive imported fuel from overseas, but as conflict in the
Middle East
disrupts global supply lines, Nigeria's Dangote refinery is stepping in to fill the gap, pumping over 200,000 barrels of fuel a day to keep African markets moving. Now, but this energy shift goes beyond the continent. President Zelensky recently confirmed talks are on the way for African nations like Mozambique to supply gas directly to Ukraine. Now, from local pumps to the front lines of Europe, Africa is no longer just a consumer. It is rapidly becoming the indispensable backbone of global energy security and saving the region from logistical delays. From Lagos, Nigeria, Louisa Olani, we on all this one.
Hey, somebody need to turn their. Go ahead, Em.
Yeah. That's how you're gonna play.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna be I ain't gonna say negative and a downer. You see what I'm saying? But I was anticipating more video or more of a monologue. But I would say what I'm gonna say. I think we need to really analyze and do an analysis or an audit as far as what type of value that we actually get from Nigeria or any type of African country. I mean, they're gonna make money off oil, gas, natural resources. They're gonna keep coming to America, building, not building, but taking advantage of our schools and our resources. But what exactly do we get out of it? What have we really gained from Africa in the last 150 years since we've been emancipated? I mean, we have Liberia. That was an epic failure. And now I remember in the early 2000s, we used to see Liberians as our own people. But now Liberia is acting like they're a whole separate African country. But I'm just saying, I don't think we should concern ourselves with African politics or African people as much, because it's like a one-way street. And we really, as a people in America, we really don't benefit from people from other countries. They benefit, of course. They upgrade and make us immense wealth. But I don't see ourselves really gaining anything from Africa. They don't share the resources. They don't offer us any type of autonomy. I mean, they talk about the land that Ghana's given, but You know, they build houses. But I done seen Ghana done tore down some people's houses out of, I guess, jealousy. But I don't see a real relationship of equality with Africa other than exploitation of us, of our resources, our intellectual capacity, the status that we have built in America that they just benefit from just for having black skin or having a similar genetic predisposition. They just automatically gets the resources and the wealth that's offered to us that we actually had to go through centuries of suffering and struggling, partially due to their own actions of course, participating in the slave trade. But the results of that, they could just come in and just benefit without having to suffer anything. And now we see they're talking to African Union, talking about reparations, somehow benefiting off of our struggle again. And they also, like this guy that's named CD, I heard he's an accountant. I think he should use his expertise to do an audit and let the people know exactly what did we as Americans benefit from Africans. And that's about it.
All right, go ahead, say James.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks for having me. Shout out to the panelists. Man, listen. I did not want it to start after this guy, man. I don't even know what he's talking about. I don't know if he's really addressing the topic or he's just talking out of his whatever, man. You know, those are the kind of problems that we have in the diaspora. When we have topics like that and we want to address Africa, we get these lunatics come on here telling us that Africa benefit from their resources. What kind of resources are you talking about, sir? Are you serious that you don't benefit? Are you serious that you don't benefit from Africa's resources? Can you let me finish? Are you serious? Oh God, let me finish, man.
Tell me, how do we benefit?
Okay, I'm not going to respond to you. If you don't, that's fine. You are benefiting from me being here with you talking about Africa. So, Dennis, I know this is a great topic when we discuss Nigeria, right? I'm not going to spend much of my time here discussing that, but I do believe the leaders right now, the leadership role should go to Ghana right now. You know, Nigeria has shown us years in and years out that they don't care about taking the leadership role in Africa, in West Africa, beginning in West Africa. They don't want it. Maybe the diaspora is inclined to believe because of the country size, Nigeria is going to pull this off. Over the last 30 years, you can see what Nigeria's been doing. Nothing. 30 years. You can ask every West African, about that, or about the leadership role. Nigeria is not there to be found. So for me, I feel like what Ghana has done a couple of weeks ago, and with the new leadership they have in Ghana, I believe if we push that a little bit, we can get somewhere with Ghana, to bringing us together. The fact that they're united with the AES and they're trying to expand all the way to East Africa, I see a great movement, being started by Ghana. So for me, I give the leadership to Ghana right now because I can't even bring Nigeria. Tinubu is not even talking to his neighbor. How can he be a leader? How can he be a leader if you're even trying to bring West Africa? Let's begin with West Africa. How can he be a leader if he can't even bring West Africa together? So let's not be delusional. Because of the country size, we can't give the leadership to them. And also, I like the personal accomplishment of Nigerians. I respect that. I'm not talking about that. As a country, as a unit, no, I don't see them accomplishing those goals. No, I don't. And for the time being, I yield my mic, man.
All right, go ahead, Africa.
Yeah, greetings to everyone. And the chats on the panel. So Nigeria, big country, big population, big problem. That's how I describe it. The importance of Nigeria, I think, if you look at the positive side of Nigeria, they do have some wealthy individuals, compared to the other region, other people. If you look at the like Dangote, Boa, like some of the popular northerners who also happen to be from the poorest region in the country due to war. And yes, they do have those people who are also very important, like someone like Dangote, a refinery, thank God to also a previous Northern president who have the gut to stand up to the world and say, look, I'm going to build this refinery, you like it or not. And it's going to be privatized, partly majority private, slightly, maybe it's about 20% government, and it's going to be here in Nigeria. And it's enough is enough, taking the oil, refining it, selling it back to us. That's what exactly Buhari did. And he worked with Dangote and managed to achieve that. And leadership, bad, so where St. James is coming from, I agree. The leadership is not there. Nigeria used to have strong leaders back in the day, like someone like Abacha, and also the guy that created the ECOWAS, during the days, early days of ECOWAS, not the ECOWAS that we talk about today. They're just gone. they stood up to a lot of the struggle that we went through in Sierra Leone, Liberia. I'll give them that, and they also try, to form, borderless, trading routes. Well, that's quite questionable. You only got to try and carry goods from Sierra Leone to Guinea, and you see how many customs you have to go through. Even though we have so-called have ECOWAS, and the paper it doesn't exist, but it was a step-by-step thing. And honestly, okay, yes, you did say the southwest of Nigeria, is the only place that's functional, but it's not. That might be some truth in it, but it's not because of the people of the southwest. It's because the southwest, where Lagos is, that used to be the capital city of Nigeria, and that's a lot of people investment there, including the northerners, the southerners, the southeasterners. So it's like a business hub. Like when you talk about business hub in Nigeria, you're looking at Lagos and Kano. And in fact, Kano, one state in the north, produced most of the rich Nigerian people, not those in the southwest. And the biggest employers in Nigeria, individual employers, are part of the government, are the northerners. Like someone like Bo and Dagonte. So it's quite a mixed bag. Ghana is leading in some type of way. I agree with that, and I would say Ivory Coast also and Senegal, all these little countries in the far west, they're doing well. To me, what I think, us in the region, we need to cut ourselves away from Nigeria for a little bit. Let them sort their problem out. When they come back, full force, then they can join us. But until then, and I think, start from the Nigeria Republic, walk all the way back to the coast of Senegal and Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Ivory Coast. We should form a new unit and let Nigeria solve their problem. Until they can solve their problem, we should pass. Because what I know is a lot of cultural difference between Nigeria and Nigerian people and the people of the far west. And if you look at what's happening, around the world and even in Africa, the reputation of Nigerian and their behavior and how they are as people, especially those in the south. I don't want to go into tribal stuff again. You see how they are welcomed and how other people, see them is totally different to how they see other West Africans. So they are damaging the African reputation. Like for example, was speaking earlier. I can see his sentiment a little bit. That's why I don't take it heartedly, because I can feel where he's coming from in some type of way. But you got to remember, not all Africans are the same. So do not generalize. We have some people in our culture, in our groups, who doesn't really represent us.
After real quick, and Elvis makes a great point. The north is holding Nigeria back, though. I mean, that's just obvious.
Yeah. The north since the downfall of Libya, they have held the Nigeria a little bit backwards, and that's not.
Ain't no little bit. The north is holding Nigeria back.
Yeah, okay, you say that, but the people in the north have continued carrying Nigeria forward, like the people I just mentioned, who are the richest people in the country and who are the biggest employers in the south. Okay, so it's a mixed bag. So I agree, but obviously you cannot carry a country forward when you're in a war zone. That's the problem. The only part in Nigeria that's peaceful at the moment is the southwest. That's why I said I can put my hands up and say yeah. And the south, that's because the south, that's where the oil is coming from. So it's heavily protected. I pass the mic. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, man. Sake.
All right, peace and love to the panel. Peace and love. Welcome to a nice conversation. I want to address before I address the situation with Nigeria, I want to address the dude that was in the chat that was talking about Africa, right? I don't know if he understands that a lot of FBAs are in Africa doing business. In fact, recently 19 Keys just did a deal in Tanzania where he's about to import coffee into America pretty soon. So he got that deal. Professor Smalls had a deal in Ghana, which he was supposed to sell his hotel, I think for $800,000, but because of something that happened, whatever, it didn't go through. But he's working on his hotel in Ghana. And there's a sister too, also another FBA sister in America. She moved to South Africa. She sold the house, and she says that the property that she got in Joburg is just phenomenal. It's 2-3 times as big, and on top of that, like she barely pays like any property tax. So he's saying that Africa has nothing to give, but yet all the corporations that's in America are coming to Africa and they're doing business. You got FBAs in Kenya also buying real estate in Kenya. So yes, you can benefit if you go about the right direction. But to sit there and say that Africans are taking advantage, I mean, yeah, you got some good Africans, you got some bad Africans, that take advantage of you if you don't, do your proper research and stuff. Because the very cell phone that you're using comes from Congo. That battery comes from Congo. All the minerals that's in Africa, you're benefiting from today. But if America went and they cut off their relationship with Africa, what resources would you have?
Hey, look, the technology, hold on. The technology for the cell phone comes from a black man's mind, Jesse Russell.
Listen, the battery that you have, the battery that you have on your phone, where does the mineral come from?
The planet Earth. It doesn't come from an African mind.
Namesake, can you continue with your thought, man? This guy ain't here to learn anything from us, man.
So as far as Dangote, the company and the owner. I love what he's doing, and he's right because he's saying that Africa needs to start exporting instead of importing. But the problem is that Nigeria has a leadership issue, and they're very like tribalistic. But the good thing about them is that they're very entrepreneurial. But they just got to do a better job. Like I don't know if you guys remember that the company Dangote, when they was first up and running, I forgot the guy's name. One of the guys from the commissioner. He came and he said that the fuel that they have is bad, is worse than Europe, right? So they went and they did a test, right? They tested it out. So they tested the fuel from Nigeria, from Dangote. The fuel was up. It was up to standards. It was fine. But when they tested the fuel from Europe, it was toxic. It failed, right? So you got these people who get paid by these companies to purposely sabotage these companies. So that's what Dangote is facing. But until like
30 seconds, then I'll pass the mic.
okay, no problem. So until Nigeria, they fix their leadership and they fix that tribalistic issues that they have, it could be a good economy. Because again, Nigeria has a big economy. This is admit. Nigerians are one of the most influential in West Africa as far as like styles and all that stuff. So that's what I wanted to add.
All right, go ahead, CD.
Hey guys, everybody on the panel.
Greetings. Hi.
Yeah, hi everybody. So this is a very interesting topic. So if the Strait of Hormuz is still closed, it would definitely disrupt huge amount of global oil trade, since a massive chunk of oil pass through Strait of Hormuz, right? Nigeria could benefit by having more demand for their oil, especially if the global supply is somehow tightened, people not getting enough oil, right? But the question is, it depends on logistics, infrastructure, and global price in fluctuation, right? Nigeria, they have the potential to win. To me, they have the potential to win. But the capacity to produce, store, and export more oil, like the pipeline and refinery and the port facility, I don't see that in Nigeria at all, right? Dangote or refinery is probably the biggest in Africa, right? But there's some gap.
It's one of the biggest. It's one of the biggest in the world, CD, not just Africa.
Okay, but there's a bigger gap. There's a gap in sense of infrastructure, logistics, and planning and investment, and size of opportunity. So, if you look at the traffic situation in Nigeria, the infrastructure is very poor. It's one thing to produce from the oil refinery, and the second thing where to store it, and how to transport it, how can it reach to the final user, right? It's the same thing that they have right now at the Strait of Hormuz. There's a production going on, but there's no flow of logistics to move the oil around. So Nigeria is in the same situation. So even though there's an oil crisis going on right now, but when I saw Nigerians stand in line trying to get a gasoline to feed their cars, that's a concern, right? I'm not sure if Dangote thought of that, because first of all the road that they build in Nigeria, there's no service place where these trucks can park and make a free flow of traffic in and out of Lagos, right? The only flexible place that I see so far is probably between Ivory Coast and Abidjan and Lagos. But on the Ivorian side, the road is well paved. But on the Nigeria side, even though they paved the road, but there's no strategic way of designing street where people trust and have a service place to relax and sleep. You want to see people jumping in the jungle to take a shit. So it's a struggle. And for the fact that Nigeria still building their infrastructure like back in the 60s, that's concerning, right? I mean, if they are not looking at the other African country that have big infrastructure in the sense that we have a service place where truck drivers can relax and sleep without disrupting the main flow of traffic, then Nigeria is still backward. It's not going anywhere. I'm sorry to say this, but Nigerians will come and say, "Oh, you criticize the but this is the fact." That's how Joshua lost his life. If they have service place where the trucks, if they break down, if there's a service place, they will not destroy, they will not be parking in the main street for someone to come and kill himself under the truck, but the road is not properly built. And you wonder how, first of all, if you travel in Nigeria, you will see people parking cars and take a shit in the bush or even pee. Ladies go right in the middle of the jungle to take a shit. So what Nigeria is depending on, I'm not sure. So the infrastructure is not there, the logistics is not there. But yeah, they have a oil refinery. But how to move those flow of oil to reach to the last user, to reach to the last destination? I don't see that, right? And then the previous spoke that spoke about Africa, they are not benefiting from Africa. I mean, it's a shame for someone like you to even make that comment. I've seen Dinah's group at JFK. Majority of the people that is on his team are all ladies. Black American ladies are making it in Africa, in Kenya, in other part of Africa. So maybe you making that comment, you haven't even been to Africa. Have you ever asked Dennis cannot be on your team to go to Africa? Nah, but you always complain. You can't get anything free in Africa. We don't get people everything in Africa, you pay for it. There's nothing free over there. So if you see Dennis' team, maybe 50 or 60% are all ladies. If ladies can't do it, why you can't do it? Take a trip. Take a trip. So nobody, even if they give you land in Africa, can you build it? Because you can't take a room over there to build. So you pay for everything.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Now, I listened to one of the shows. I was just listening. You said you joined an organization called the National Association of Black Accountants, right?
Yes, NABA.
Yeah, that's a Black American organization. And
Right.
you said this was in 2005.
2008.
And you're from Liberia.
Right.
So they saw you as one of us, because that's how we saw Liberians in 2008. Now, did you not?
No, they did not say Black American. They said Black.
We always see Liberians
Black
as
accounting.
we always seen Liberians as Black Americans until recently. But I was saying, did you not benefit? Did you not benefit from coming to America and a Black organization? What I'm saying, I ain't saying basically that we're not going to invest in Africa. When the topic of the discussion is Nigeria can possibly take advantage of the situation, but how much of that oil revenue, gas revenue, is going to come to us?
Let me answer your question. Let me answer your question about NABA. NABA, every school that you go to, they have a group for lawyers, they have group for accounting, they have group for finance guy, right? This is an organization that, you go to Career Center, you be member of it. They are Chinese, Japanese, even though they say national accounting or Black accounting, but they have all race of everybody who is a minority, right? They look at your resume, they look at who has a decent GPA. So I got into PricewaterhouseCoopers. They call it PwC is the biggest accounting firm in the world.
Look, you don't have to explain it. That's a waste of time.
All right, so let me tell you, they hire you based on merit. It's based on merit. And I work my ass up and sponsor myself through school.
But let me ask you,
not get it free.
If you weren't in America, would you have an opportunity if you wasn't in America?
If I was not in America, I won't have it. There are people who
you
have the opportunity,
from,
did not make use of it.
The point I'm making is you personally benefited from something that a Black American started in America.
Yeah,
so what
course,
are we really benefiting from in Africa?
That's
what is
true.
being set up for us over there? Nothing.
I'm not saying that we benefit
CD,
from
he has
Black
to go
Americans.
first. You see the first step you did, CD? You came to America, right? And you went to school, you passed your behind, and they got you there by merit. If this guy want to go to Africa and do about the same thing, you can go. No, God, listen. This is ridiculous.
Hey, guys, I gotta pass some. CD, I gotta pass my turn.
No, I'm finished here. So
okay, we got 20 seconds. So I gotta pass.
Okay, I benefited from African American. I'm not lying to you. I benefited from it, but at the same time, again, everything that I did was based on merit, right? So I have to work my ass up and get where I am right now, right? But at the same time, too, African Americans that go to Africa, yeah, they do benefit. But you haven't even been there. Have you asked Daniel, can I be on your team to go to Africa? No.
What if I can't afford it?
And complain. Have you been there?
What if I can't afford the ticket? Like it's thousands of dollars.
Okay, but then if you can't even afford ticket, how can someone give you a link?
Hey, I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead,
Tarek. About payment plans you can get.
Yeah, go ahead, Tarek.
Is my turn?
Yes.
Well, what was the topic, Diamond? Because people are off the subject. What was the topic? How could Nigeria benefit?
The giant of Africa.
That's not what he said. That wasn't the topic. What was the topic, Diamond?
He said Nigeria is the most important country right now.
Why is Nigeria the most important country right now?
Yeah.
That's the topic, right?
Yeah.
So we're not focusing on if they have the best leadership or not or anything like that. We're focusing on how could they benefit from it. Right? And Emmy's got PTSD or something, so I'm not even going to even discuss that. But as far as Nigeria benefit, they're benefiting tremendously, and they could benefit tremendously even more. CD, I understand what you said about the logistics, right? As far as roads and stuff like that, but If you go online right now, you'll see that they're trying to take care of that problem right now with the roads and access roads that they're building, right? And they're aware of the trucks parking up on the side of some of the trucks parking up on the side of the road. They're aware of that, and they're trying to change that situation right now. So it is coming. They're building a new road from, I think, Sokoto all the way to Badagry, right? That's besides the highway that they're building, right? They're going to build a new port in Badagry to relieve the port in I forgot where it's at in Lagos, right? They're building right now we speak a new port in Ogun State right next door to again to relieve traffic. Ebony States, Akwa Ibom, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Akwa Ibom States, they finally have the approval after many years to build a new port, right? Again to relieve on the traffic, right? So the infrastructure are being built. As far as Dangote getting out the oil, yeah, there's still a lot of bad local roads. We know that, but he have over 1,000 trucks getting the oil out to the local vendors, right? And you have to understand, there's a lot of people fighting Dangote within Nigeria as far as getting the oil out. They still want to import, right? And Dangote told them from 2 years ago, right? They can fill the needs, right? But they have other players in the country say, no, we still want to import, right? He's getting ready to he's building now the capacity to refine. I think it's almost like 1 million barrels a day. Do you know where they're going to put them? That's going to put them right up there with India, right? Well, India have the biggest refinery. As far as getting the fuel out to different countries, they have no problem with that. They have either they don't necessarily have the ships, right? But other people have the ship to come get the oil and bring it up. They just delivered to England airplane fuel, the best airplane fuel, by the way, right? So South Africa is buying from them, Ghana, and different countries in West Africa, and people are calling on the phone, calling like crazy. Germany, all of them, right? Asking, trying to set up a situation that they could refuse. They could take to get oil from them, right? So there's a lot to do right now. The Dangote is like filled with orders, and don't forget they do have other smaller refineries that's online right now, right? 100,000 barrels there, 250,000 barrels there. They do have other refineries, and they're building another refinery. I think it's about the size of Dangote in Akwa Ibom State. You guys have to read and watch YouTube and watch the actual builds, the building of these different infrastructure around the place. And instead of just passing judgment, go online and look for yourself, right? And then to travel there, especially that by there, and Nigerians themselves. Even Nigerians themselves, they don't know what the hell is going on in their own damn country. Drive around the place, investigate, and see what's being built, right? And just don't come shoot out your mouth like that. We know that it has problems. We don't have to keep going over the same thing over and over and over again. You see what I'm saying? But you guys are not looking at actual solutions that people are trying to solve. Go there and look. That's why all these investors, all kind of people are in Nigeria right now, right? Looking how they could get a piece of the pie. There's only black people talking bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And you gotta stop that shit. What M is talking about, how Americans are not benefiting. That don't make no damn sense. You see what I'm saying? That don't make any sense. Americans have been benefiting from Nigeria.
30 seconds.
All right, they've been benefiting from Nigeria and all of Africa for more than 100 years. What are you talking about? Where do you think most of the minerals come from? Right? They're benefiting from it. And as far as you want to include African Americans have businesses in Africa all over the place. Some of them is multi-million business. You guys have to do your research.
Let me read these super chats and I'm gonna pass to Elvis.
Okay.
Ghana does more with little, while Nigeria does little with much. The giant of Africa is underachieving, unfortunately, to whom much is given, much is expected. We've stopped for thank you for $2 Let's sponsor him to go to Africa Dynasty. Okay. Go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Diners, and hello to the panel in the chat. Look, I think Nigeria is the most important country in Africa. especially quote unquote sub-Saharan Africa. And I say that because the potential is so, great. And I think there's two main things that's hampering, Nigeria from reaching its full potential. Number one is the epicenter for corruption in Africa. Corruption is the biggest, and probably close second is the North. The North has been hampering Nigeria because you have a group of people who think that they have a birthright to rule Nigeria. And as such, they won't let the smarter people from the Southwest in particular, who have the mind, and the vision to carry that country forward. They're trying to stifle them. They're trying to dominate them. And as such, you have a country that's divided. So certain people from a certain part of the country have a propensity to want to sabotage anything that somebody from the South, especially Southwest or Southeast, anything they do to try to show that they are better leaders and they're forward thinkers. And that's one of the issues you have with yes, he wasn't my first choice, to lead Nigeria, but certainly he has a lot of smart people around him. But you see people from a specific part of the country, the northern part, that's trying to sabotage him. And I think if the Igbos and the Yorubas and the people from the South, if they get together and have their own country, they will be very successful. And I think one of the things Nigeria has to do is to do, bureaucratic, meritocracy, where, politicians can get elected based on regional affiliation and tribal affiliation, but people who are doing, government career jobs need to be there by merit. And that way you have the best people working in government, making sure things are running smoothly, and you got your best minds and your best brains formulating policies and running the country. And I think doing that, Nigeria will probably be further than where it is now. In Ghana, like somebody said, I agree with that sentiment. Ghana is doing more with less, and that's because of their long history of stability, the priority in education. So we're proud of Ghana, but I think Nigeria, if they're ready to get it together, that would be a catalyst for a lot of good things happening in our region. And as such, as Africans, West Africans in particular, we have to be rooting for Nigeria to get it together. And hopefully, if Dangote can get this refinery really up and running and start to service, West Africa, other African countries, the fuel costs will probably be coming down. And a lot of things will be happening on the continent, and more consistency instead of importing from Europe. The cost of import will be cheaper, and it will just be better. But overall, I think Nigeria is fighting against itself. A particular group of people are fighting against other people within his own country, and they're destabilizing the country. When you see a northern president, things are more stable, because the Igbos, especially the Yorubas, they're not trying to sabotage. They're not trying to go there and make sure that this northern president doesn't succeed. But if it's the other way around, guarantee you have a lot of kidnapping, you have a lot of insurgency and security going on in the north, making the country look bad on the global stage and making it seem like the president in charge is not doing a great job. So I think that's the biggest issue in Nigeria. If they can get rid of that northern part of the country, or those Fulanis and Kanuris can come into the fold and really try to uplift the black race by helping their country be a better country, I think Nigeria will probably reach its potential. But thank you for having me, Giannis. I'll pass the mic.
No problem. Hold on, talking guys. Hit the like button. Please hit that like button.
Well, Don, let me ask you a question before you.
You gotta let me finish. You gotta let me finish. Guys, hit the like button. Please hit that like button. And again, shout out to Gustavo as well. Where's Maria at? Maria ain't in here. All right, go ahead, Tark. You had to ask me a question.
Yeah, can I ask you a question?
No, well, let me ask you a question. And Al, you can answer the question too. Where does most of the food grown in Nigeria?
That's a good question. I would say probably
from the north.
Yeah.
So if you can't eat oil, right? So both entities is needed. All four of them.
And that would differ from the north. That would differ from the north.
He's from the north. I know. Right? So all four of them. Yeah. Most of the food. I don't know about y'all, but I'd rather have food than oil. Okay. Right. So they need each other. They know if one is better than the other. Most of the food is grown in the north. Period.
Yes. Yeah. And also just to remind Elvis, you can ask every Nigerian. You can go back from Nigerian independence since Nigeria was founded to today, Elvis. The best two leaders in Nigerian history are from the north. So what are you spewing about? The only man that came and saved you, Elvis, the only man that came and saved you during the war in Liberia was from the north, the late General Sani Abacha. He sent this guy to save you.
Babangida, yep.
And Ibrahim Babangida. Yep. Elvis, your people, can you tell me one thing about catching people for the white man and tying them so hard and help the white man put them on the boat and transport them to slave during the transatlantic slavery? Can you tell me one thing that your people have ever done for the good of Africans and the black race?
I'll make sure you respond. Please make sure you respond to this.
Let me pass the mic. Let me pass the mic to God's Gift. Go ahead, God's Gift.
Thank you.
Hello, panel.
Hello.
Yeah, and what I have to say in regards to the topic is that, I mean, at this moment in time, it's a fantastic time for Africa to, take advantage of the current economical situation around the world. With the disruption in the Middle East, there is obviously vast opportunities that can be taken advantage of, and unfortunately, Africa is not in that position to take advantage of, some of these, opportunities which are coming up. Some of them opportunities being tourism, because a lot of, if you've noticed, a lot of people go to the Middle East, like Dubai and everything else. I mean, if we did have like a, first, world, country in Africa, this is something that they could.
South Africa, Botswana, Namibia. Come on, man.
No. They're not there yet. They're not there in terms of.
Yes, they are, bro. Yes, they are. South Africa, bro.
Oh, hold on. But they're not taking advantage of that. They're not taking advantage of that opportunity, because and there's also airlines as well.
They get 10 million visitors a year. 10 million.
It's not as much as the Middle East. But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that could be diverted. Now it could be diverted, which I can't see. Do you understand? But what I'm trying to say, there's a lot of opportunities which which Africa can take advantage of in this current situation. So moving on, in terms of Nigeria, what what I'm seeing with Nigeria is that, yes, I mean, Dangote is come at the right time. It's just at the right time, build up this refinery just at the right time to capitalize on. It's by luck, it's by luck. He's been put into that position, but he needs to get things moving. He needs to get things moving and secure certain deals and secure certain things, And I mean, what I'm seeing as well, I mean, the problem I have with Nigeria is there's a tribalistic nature, where obviously you lot have been saying this, where things are all divided. There is when it comes to unity, that's the thing that Nigeria lacks. And I mean, if Nigeria is to progress forward, I think they need to put religion aside, and they need to get rid of that tribalistic behavior. Once they get rid of them things, then I think you'll start seeing a emerging Nigeria, a superpower, a regional superpower, Nigeria. As it stands at the moment, I don't think Nigeria is doing enough, because if you want to say you're the most important, you're the giant of Africa, like I'll say, for example, things like this, which is happening on a continent, say, for example, the war in Sudan. If you're a regional power, you should be able to project yourself, to go in and stop that. You know what I'm saying? Whenever there's conflict on a continent, you should be able to, project yourself, to bring some stability into your region if you're claiming to be a superpower. See, so I mean, there's a long way to go. There's a long way to go, and I mean, there is some positives in there. It's not all just negatives. There's some positives, which is a great thing. But the other problem I have as well is that what I'm seeing is that the wealth is concentrated in one. Do you understand? In one particular part, the wealth is concentrated with the 1%. And the wealth. I mean, Dangote can't do it all himself. He cannot do everything himself. Do you understand? But the problem is the wealth is concentrated with just him. Do you understand? And that's the problem as well. You have to spread the wealth. And
I think from the north, the wealth is spread from the north, like Kano states have the richer people.
Are you sure? Yeah. Well, no. It's all good. It's all good. Individuals. There's certain individuals who have the wealth. Right. But I'm saying in terms of, because if you go to obviously northern Nigeria, there's a lot of poverty there, isn't there, as well?
Yeah, that's true. Also, I agree.
So what I'm trying to say is that wealth shouldn't be in the hands of just one. You understand? Of just one or two individuals.
Yeah, that wealth, it has to be a monopoly.
Yeah, that wealth should be spread out, which brings about innovation.
What do you mean one or two though? How many millionaires in Nigeria? Do you know?
They don't have the most billionaires, not
No,
millionaires,
in Nigeria,
billionaires.
how many millionaires
There's
in
not
Nigeria?
the millionaires. No, but there's just I think in terms of billionaires, there's there's one or two in it.
Millionaires. That's a millionaire. Millionaires. That's a
And I will tell you this: the more patriotic Nigerian from the north. That's why you don't see them running around in other countries scamming. You hardly see the Northerners out. When you see the Northerners out, they probably came for education.
So
or they
what
came
I'm
for
saying,
business.
what I'm saying
So
is that wealth needs to be spread out. I don't know
Spread out.
how,
Yeah, I agree.
but
I
it
agree.
needs to be spread out into certain things, which brings about innovation, which uplifts the people. Do you understand? Yeah, uplifts and improves the people's lives, and for that in itself will obviously rise up the country and the economy as well when others as well are participating. But at the moment, all I see is just an individual man who's out to do things for his own selfish gains and his own. Do you understand?
Which man are you talking about? Which man are you talking about?
I'm talking about Dangote.
Which man are you talking about? Which man? So you think Dangote is the only rich person?
Yeah, he's the richest person. He's the richest. But what I'm saying,
I didn't ask you that. I said, do you think he's the only one? I said, do you think he's the only one?
But hold on.
So what are you talking about, bro?
Hold on. He's the richest in the world. The richest black man in the world.
Who cares?
Listen to this.
Hold on. I mean, do we gotta yell? God, we gotta yell.
Listen to this. We gotta yell with dumb people dying. We gotta yell with dumb people.
This ain't dumb. This is common sense. If you're
bro, they have plenty wealthy people and middle class people in Nigeria. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? One person.
No. But listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the wealth is not spreading out. It's not.
You want to
you can't have people having like billions and billions when people can't even they're on £1 a day.
But he's employing a lot of people.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Do you live in the United States? Do you live in the United States?
1 second. No, please,
I don't live in the United States.
It's
not enough. It's not enough. The money he's got.
Man, bro, get off the chat, man. Shut up, bro. Shut up.
Crap, man.
You dumb man. Shut up.
Hold on. Stop.
Fucking ass.
Bro, listen. Bro,
get off the channel, bro. You're an idiot.
Man.
Get off the channel. You don't do no research. You don't do no research.
That's not about.
Hey, we're not doing this, guys. The yelling, the screaming,
do some research, though, bro. God damn.
Yeah, the name calling, the screaming.
It's not about me doing. It's just a reality. It's
but Dangote
not a reality, bro. I live in America for 50 years. I live in America for 50 years. I live in America for 50 years. You want to see some of these areas in America? You want to see some of these areas in America? What are you talking about? The wealth is not distributed here. The wealth is not distributed here in America, bro.
It's not distributed well. It's not distributed. It's selfishness. For someone to have 25 billion,
it's not distributed here in America. In America, where they went to West Virginia, Kentucky, Mississippi. What are you talking about?
Let me tell you something. Dangote, yeah, he only does things, yeah, when he sees, oh right, there's gonna be like I'm gonna get maximum profit or maximum money. Do you understand?
I gotta pass the mic. Go ahead, Lewis.
Yeah, hello everybody. Listen, Dangote is doing a great job. Okay, it's very important to Africa at the moment. Okay, he's been sabotaged, but he's managed to get over that. Okay, he has good investors. The rest of the Nigerian business community will behave a little bit like him. Nigeria and West Africa will go far. Okay, he's providing a very important service, the oil refinery. Okay, I know a bit about this because my own cousin was the head of the Goyo Ghana company. Okay, it's very important. We've brought on this year 2 big oil refineries in Ghana, which is important. We're working with the Dangote group. Dangote is doing a fantastic job. To me, he's the president of Nigeria. He's the savior of Nigeria. All right? You need rich people in the nation to do well, and he's doing well. He's creating jobs. He's refining oil to go everywhere, to Ethiopia, everywhere. If that man gets everything up and running, that's how our problem solved. The Europeans are upset because they can't make money as they used to do. He's exporting, as their voice say, jet fuel to England. When's the last time any of you Africans export anything? That's refined. Leave the man, let the man do his job. I don't have hope for Nigeria, but I got hope when I see him. Long may it continue. And those you guys from little small African countries, stop digging at the big countries, okay? Stop doing that. Think of the positive and look at that. He's doing a good job. You can't knock that man. That's all I got to say for now, Dan. I'll make it quick.
He got cement factory all over West Africa. He got one of the biggest cement factory in Abidjan. Now with the oil, he created more
in Zimbabwe too, bro. In Zimbabwe,
you know,
he got stuff in Zimbabwe.
He's doing a lot. This guy created more jobs than anybody, any African you think of, any African you think of.
Could people just accept some good news sometimes? Does it always have to be just in the bottom? Can we just accept some Christmas present sometimes?
I believe all of us in here, we agreed that there is a lot of personal accomplishment within the people of Nigeria. We accepted that. We just talking about the packaging as a unit. That's what we are talking about. We can sit on here for 24 hours and talk about what the Nigerian have.
We know the problems. We know the problems. We know the problems. So let's move on. Just get some good news. That's what I'm saying.
Listen to my. Let me give you this example.
Right now,
one example. Right? Why
Saudi Arabia is dead.
I get it. Haraka. I give you an example. When Dramani came to power, right, at the height of our problem with ECOWAS, Dramani didn't pick side. He came to the AES country. He toured Africa. He spoke his vision to the Africans. You see what I'm saying? And he was resonating with us, right? When Tinubu took power, right, they gave him 2 years as a chairman of ECOWAS. He lost 3 countries under his watch. Never traveled to any country in West Africa, especially the AES country. Didn't bother. But every time he watched, he's overseas. So that's what when we see those actions, I'm talking about the unit. You see what I'm saying? When you see those patterns, it tells you that these people are not worried about it.
Bro. We don't care about Tinubu.
No, that's right. Okay. Until if this guy, but the guru, if he decides to run as a president, he can have my support, right? Based on what you are saying, if he has that kind of vision. So a leader has to have a vision for everybody, right? We have to be able to lend our voice to the leader. If we can't even do that, how would you guys sit on the side and say this is a leader? So he doesn't even speak on your behalf. When was the last time you saw him speak?
Are we talking about Dango? Bro,
no, I'm not talking about Dangote. No, Karaka, you don't get no argument from me about Dangote. He's the man.
Yeah,
you don't get no argument.
We're talking about how the topic is how does Nigeria benefit? That's what the topic is. How do they make money from what's going on in the Middle East? That's what the subject's about.
No,
we know what the fuck is going on in Nigeria.
The topic goes a little deeper than that.
The topic is how do you make money, bro?
No, it goes a little deeper than that.
Let's calm down.
You can't look at one aspect.
We're not talking about that.
We cannot look at one aspect and ignore the red flags. There's a lot of red flags in Nigeria.
This is what we're talking about. How could you make money? How could they take advantage? That's what I'm saying. You guys are going off that.
Everybody agree. No, I get it. Everybody agree for the time being. Ghana is doing a great job at the leadership position.
The subject is not about Ghana. It's not about Ghana.
Okay, we picked it. But people are. When you say we talk about leadership, right? If I'm telling you that as of right now they are not a leader, so you should accept that, right?
Okay,
as an opinion. As an opinion.
Good. That's Tinubu. Good. You know what I'm saying? Good. We don't care.
That's it. That's all we are doing.
How could Nigeria make money? How could they take advantage of the situation? That's what I'm saying.
Let's move it on.
And Ghana said Dangote, the oil. That's what we spoke about.
Hey, Al, why did you let this guy run away, man? You asked a question, you run away. Why you allowed that?
I got honestly, what coward, isn't it? You
see the cowards. You see how when you talk about why they don't want to hear, they run away. But when they talk about us, you don't see us running away, right?
I'm from Ghana.
You don't see us running away. We stay here. They say whatever they want to say and they leave. But the minute you talk about something they don't want to hear, they run away.
Some people just behave like a lady. They don't want to take when you criticize them. They behave like a lady. They don't carry
our bloodline. They don't carry our bloodline.
You gotta be like a man. You gotta accept people criticize you. You gotta accept when people give you positive results. You have to accept everything. This is intellectual forum. But when you start acting like a lady, I don't want to.
He ran away. He ran away straight away, didn't he?
CD, what was it? I live in America for 50 years. I came here from when I was a baby, right? I know this country from top to bottom. The amount, I work all over the country. I go in some places you go. You think you're living in a fourth world country. I'm telling you, with white people. White people.
What he God said was not what doesn't make sense at all. You can't say that Dangote is a rich man, so therefore he should give free money to people in the street.
No, didn't say anybody else. Hey, bro. Let me come in. Let me explain it to you properly, so it gets into your head properly. You understand? So you get the dynamics. What I'm saying is the wealth should be used to distribute the wealth. Do you understand?
Yes,
to bring about innovation. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? When the wealth is stuck in one person's hand. Do you understand? When that brings that innovation, it brings up the country as well. So everyone
when you mentioned Dangote, that he was the wrong example because he created jobs than any African that you think of.
It's
That
only
was
now
one
he's
thing
doing
that
that,
he
innit?
did.
It's only
You
now
cannot
he's
use
had
Dangote
billions.
as an
Look,
example for that.
look.
The
He's had
government has
billions
done
from
that.
time. He's
The
had
government
billions
has
from
that.
time. It's only now that he's venturing onto them
But
kinds of
Dangote
things.
is the wrong
Fair
example to say
distribution.
he's not distributing wealth equally. He's the one that created job to
His job.
anybody. He created
Yeah,
people
he's employing
from
people.
everywhere in the think of. He got one of the
Well, guys,
biggest
It's not enough.
cement factory in Abidjan that I saw
guys,
with my eyes.
It's not enough.
guys,
With the money he's got, he can do more.
yeah. In fact,
All right.
guys,
government
do you
can't do
know?
that. That's
Sorry,
the
guys.
government.
I'll
The
follow
government
one
got to
second.
do that.
Louis, 1 second. Do you know right now the United States Embassy have shut down? They have given a massive warning of all American citizens, not to go to majority of the states in Nigeria. They have shut the embassy down. Is it today? Yeah, they have.
Listen. Can I just say something about Nigeria as a
Yeah.
whole, as a country?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, Louis.
I believe Nigeria as a whole, as a country, is not going to work. Okay, I think they should split to 3 countries. They
Split
don't
it.
have to fight
Split it.
to do it. That's what I think.
I agree. Those are the north. We'll connect them from the west.
But
Yes.
the issue with Nigeria is not only splitting. It's very difficult. I'm sorry to say this, to see patriotic Nigerians. The Daniel said one thing: Nigerians are not patriotic.
They are not at all.
If you meet
They are not.
Nigerian in New York City, the first thing he will do, the first country he will criticize is Nigeria. It's sad.
They are not. Yeah, they are not.
And they are not
100%
patriotic
right,
in a
Steve.
sense. That's why there's too much corruption, because everybody wants something for themselves.
Yeah,
If you
how
how many times someone will come here and
Hold on.
support Nigeria? Nigerians are not
Right?
patriotic.
I just want to say something,
Yeah.
right? Well, what City was
Yeah.
saying. I remember I have a friend who's Igbo, right? Another one that's Hausa. My Igbo friend, he said that he was a nationalist from Nigeria. The Hausa dude started laughing at him. He said, "What the hell is that?"
They're funny. Do you know what? Yeah, it's so they just fight over tribal supremacy. It's unbelievable. It's like, oh, you're Igbo, you're Yoruba, Yoruba land, oh, it's Hausa land, it's Fulani land, it's this land, you're Muslim, you're Christian. And no other country in West Africa, we all got put in the same place before, during the days of partition, right? We do that. A lot of our countries, look at Ivory Coast, for example. Ivory Coast is made of the entire West Africa without the Nigerian tribes. Thank God for that. Okay. The only people in Nigeria that find in Ivory Coast as an ethnic group is probably the Hausa and the Fulani. That's it. All the rest, they're kept away. But I think that is due to the time of late Almami Samori Toure, because he pushed certain tribes who are from the west, he pushed them away from that region. So that's the reason why they did not find themselves there today. But other than that, the entire Ivory Coast,
brother, it's because of the language.
Yeah.
And do you know
Yeah,
there's certain part of
yeah.
Nigeria where they use CFA instead of using Naira?
Yeah.
Or they put up Ivory Coast? They don't want their own
people
currency.
These are the people like Almami Samori Toure pushed away. He pushed them away.
Listen.
Okay, he pushed them away.
This is a big issue with the Nigerians. They are not patriotic at all, and
Because
that's
it's the British that formed Nigeria, isn't
They
it?
like that divide. They knew it wasn't going to work.
It's the British that formed them. But what they need to do is go back to the wheel and reinvent Nigeria again. You understand? Yeah. They need to even change the name. They need to.
Can I tell you one thing, right?
The first British form of the country. What are you talking about?
Masake and Sidi.
I guess
Yeah, sorry, one second.
after you.
Yeah, okay,
go
sorry.
ahead.
It's the British that they put the name there.
Sorry, bro. During the time of Almami Samori Toure, there was a tribe in the southwest of Nigeria, okay, who basically were trying to infiltrate the Fulani Mandinka to have a war. And this tribe was doing it deliberately so we can have a fight. But Almami Samori Toure was so smart and clever. He managed to twist it around. He said to the Fula, we who built the Mali Empire, we who built, he read a script to the Fula warriors and said, are we going to fight one another because of these people? He said, no, the Fula people are, hell no, we're not doing that. So that time, the Fula and the Mandinka, they joined force and they pushed this tribe back to where you call southwest of Nigeria today, away from the Ivorian border. And they taught them lesson. So luckily, we don't have these people in the far west. They're highly tribalistic. They're highly, highly untrustworthy. Anywhere they will infiltrate other tribes to have problems for them to gain security. And some of them will emotionally blackmail you. They haven't changed, honestly. This group of
that's
people haven't
crazy.
changed.
That's like from the 1800s. That's crazy.
And it's funny, how can you go to Ghana or South Africa to say you want to set up a king if you don't even love your own country? I don't understand.
It's crazy.
Nigerian guy told me when one of the Nigerian soccer players he died. He died. You were playing soccer, right? And when I was talking to Augustine, he told me, well, they killed him. I said, how did they kill him? He said, well, the man he was playing soccer in Greece. He said, well, they used voodoo from Nigeria. I said, Augustine, how possible is that? How can you say something like that?
From Nigeria. I was going to say, hold on. I was going to say this. What's so crazy is, I'll give you a prime example. I had a Kenyan friend, right? And me and him went to school together. We were young, and then his mother did not like me whatsoever, right? I had to ask her, he had to ask his mom, why she didn't like me like that? Because she thought I was Nigerian. I told her, I said, "No, I'm not Nigerian." And then all of a sudden, like she opened her arms towards me. For some reason, I know it's a minority, but you got some of these Nigerians, like they go to other countries, they cause problems. And it's not just in Africa. They cause
a lot
problems
of
in
trouble in
America.
Kenya. They cause a lot of trouble in Kenya.
Yeah, they cause problems in America. They cause problems in South America. They cause problems in Asia. They cause problems in the Middle East. In fact, they got banned from Saudi Arabia.
What problems are they causing in America?
People don't rent their property to Nigerians. Wherever in any part of West Africa, once you say Nigerian, people will now rent their property to you. Especially in most of the francophone countries.
So what
there needs to be an attitude adjustment, That's the thing as well.
Yeah, man. May I go?
Hey, guys, let Pop speak. Go ahead, Shaw.
I'm being very meek and mild. I would have just busted up in there and do the black thing. If I really wanted to. I just want to see how long y'all was gonna keep talking without letting me go, because I already busted in and said I'm a new speaker, and then somebody speaking. I said I'll go after them, and then y'all just keep. This is what black folks do, though. This is what we do.
We apologize. Sorry, Scott.
But maybe that's a behavior that is reaches out into other areas like Nigeria, for example. David Hundayan said that most Nigerians are kind of meek and mildish in a way, and there's only 10% of Nigerians that are really kind of aggressive and assertive and that kind of. Now that's his opinion, right? But my overall statement about the title of this room is that what makes Nigeria so important is its genetic diversity and its intellectual potential, because the genetic diversity is the most genetic diversity of all gene pools of humans, which is the Niger Congos and those folks from Central and South Africa. And so you're going to have this is the Grayson type. What's his name? He talks about this, that you have the smartest of smarts that comes out of the most diverse genetic gene pool, and you'll have the opposite of that. You have the most evil, you have the most kind, you have the most spiritual. All of this, he says, comes out of the diverse genetic gene pool, which Niger Congo does, right? So that's one of the things that folks know. They study us, they know about that. It's also the largest population, so you're going to have the largest population of Africans with the most genetic diversity and the greatest potential and the worst potential. And as well, you have potential for advancement in industry and that kind of thing. It's been there since the 70s. It was trying to jump off in the 70s, but as you could see where we are today. But I do think that at the end of the day, Nigeria needs to be reorganized. It needs to stay a country, but it needs to reorganize its the way that it's being governed, or its lines of regional lines need to be redrawn. And maybe around ethnicity, like, you have the different, they become states. But for the most part, you keep it pretty much the same, but you reorganize it in ways in which is fair to work with the democracy, but redistribute. I don't know if that would even make a difference.
Yeah, no, brother, listen. The way Nigeria is set up, their best does not rise to the top. Let me tell you the best of Nigeria.
No, we know that. We know it doesn't. We know that it doesn't rise to the top.
This is a problem. In any society, even ancient societies, within the Nigerian societies in the ancient times, the best ones was able to get near to the top of the royalties thing. In the system they've got now, there's so much in numbers. Right? Like I said, it should be 3 countries at least. Okay, they haven't. You've got gangsters running it at the top, and they're shutting everybody else off. That's why the rest of Nigerians have given up. They get a chance to get on the plane to get the fuck out.
You have the worst of or the gangsters of gangsters, at the running. And what a gangster do is keep the good people out, because then they can't run the game.
And then my brother from America also too. In America, out of all the groups in Africa, Nigerians make the most. They're like 700, 800,000 in America. So that should tell you something.
It's a larger percentage of them that gets to go over there because of huge numbers. But hear me out, brother. Right? Listen, can anybody remember the name of the recent a Nigerian guy who was the head of the African Exim Bank? I believe his name was.
They got who passed away?
I know what he looks like.
No, he's still there. He left recently.
Oh, okay. That was another guy who passed away.
The young guy. Yeah, I forgot his name.
I know what he looks like. Yeah.
This guy helped out Africa a lot in the last 10 years. The Americans were trying to kick him out, but this man was able to hold on and give a lot of development. He helped us in Ghana, a lot of development, aid help in Sierra Leone, other places, infrastructure. The guy was really, really good. Okay, people like that need to rise to be risen to the top in Nigerian society. But unfortunately, there's a particular group of guys who are on the top. They're keeping everybody else out, and they're using religion again to really do damage. That's why I don't have time for certain things. All right, we need a Nigerian on the panel, by the way. But I think as an African, Nigeria needs to be split into 3 countries. We don't have to fire a single shot, and let each one rise. And because we're all West Africans, we're still gonna have one country anyway. So let's split the country up. So,
But that's
you know,
going
we
to
can-
be problematic because you
no,
have
it's not going to be problematic. We can
you know
easily
why?
divide it
Because
out.
you have money in parts where you in other parts there's no money making in other parts. You have industry in the south and banking. You got all these different things.
No, brother,
And
we can do it through plebiscite and so on for the first 20 years, and then everybody can go on their own later on. Yeah.
Okay.
You can easily do that.
I
But the
can see a
Nigerian
war
people
with
have to
that.
want
There's
it.
going to be a war.
No,
I
but
don't
the
think
people
the size of Nigeria is the problem. Ethiopia is
Yes,
about
they
100,
want everything for themselves. They want
100
to be in power
million.
all the time.
If they
I think
can if they can do it, what Nigeria can do, it's just like there's no patriarchy in Nigeria. Very few. They don't love the country.
If the people of Nigeria were prospering, they wouldn't care if it stayed a country as long as everybody was prospering.
Brother, listen, I remember $1 $1. As a
Yeah,
young man, listen, it was like a piece of Europe, but the Nigerians got carried away. They took off going around the world shagging white women, didn't give a shit about saving up for the country's future. And this is what we end up with. They're excessive. They love showing
It's
off.
more to no, you don't. No, you don't. I studied
Oh my
Ajakuta.
friend,
It
come on,
wasn't
we've
just the
seen it
fact
around
that
the whole
Africans spent the money and spoiled the money. They were threatened at times by the Western world to not do certain things,
They went in
certain
bed by America.
developments,
They
like
went
the
in bed
steel
with
company.
America.
They were told they're not going to
They
build that
went
steel
with America,
company.
bro.
No, the steel company was built. They were told to not go forward with making that steel company work.
Bro, that's what I mean.
They
is
were
they're
threatened.
corrupt
And
leaders.
so when somebody comes and threatens you and your family, your mama, your daddy, then now you've got to be a Traore. And they were not meant to be Traores. They were meant to just be regular, govern the country in a democratic way. And they weren't trying to give up their
how
life.
the Western world gets down, but there has to be some patriotism from the people somewhere. That's why the country is too big. It should be free.
The problem is the political center is based in the north. You see, that's where all the political elites,
That's going to be a problem.
are coming from, and it needs to be diversified. You understand? Yeah. So all regions are represented, but the problem is it's just the north which is mostly represented in the political arena.
So sorry, guys. As a Nigerian, I would like to chip in a thing.
Go ahead, brother.
There's been a lot of misconception. I've been listening for a while, and I think, I mean, I think there's a lot.
Are you Nigerian?
I'm Nigerian.
Oh God, let it propaganda in the house.
I am like Nigerian. In fact,
But you don't sound like Nigeria because you're not too loud. That's
It's Nigeria. When you say it's Nigeria, that means Nigerian. I can hear that. It's Nigerian.
Well, it's midnight here in London, so I have to be careful. And you know how the British build their homes; it's not soundproof. So,
you don't want the landlord to kick you out, yeah?
Exactly. So, guys, and it's been an interesting conversation for close to an hour that I've been listening. What I would like to say here is, as a country, I do understand that we're very diverse, and most of the times we've lacked unity.
Is that someone mute? Someone causing a lot of noise.
Someone needs to turn off their mic.
Yeah, someone's like washing dishes or something or cooking. Yeah, turn the mic off.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to say that we're very diverse. When you look at the history of Nigeria from how Nigeria came to be to through independence, through the First Republic and the multiple coup and counter coup, to what we call the present day Nigeria, you'll notice that there's been a lot of ethnic snitching here and there. What is new to Nigeria now, it's not the ethnicity. I think it's also the place of religion, which is quite unfortunate. But I would just like to just pass through all those issues and just go through the main points. How does Nigeria progress from this point? I think a lot of issues here. Number one, it's obviously is leadership or the lack of it. Obviously, we've got a lot of weak leaders. We've got very corrupt people that do not have full sight on what exactly on kind of dream or vision they have for Nigeria. And then you also the other issue is education. I think education tends to help to quieten the polity, the division across religion and ethnicity. I think education does help with that. And you've got a vast population that are largely uneducated, and this is mostly found in the north. And I mean, I'm from the north, but technically I'm from what most people call the Middle Belt area. So it's a little bit complicated, and that's why I laugh when people say you want to divide Nigeria into three. Like if you want to divide Nigeria, you may end up with up to 8 to 10 nations. That's how complex Nigeria is as a country. So I think there's a lot of issues with regards to education, mostly in the north. And to make it worse, you've got issues with poverty as well. So a mixture of ignorance and poverty becomes a hotbed for indoctrination, terrorism, and all. I mean, it's a difficult situation to solve, but it's going to take a very strong leader that is very visionary, very strong, that will be able to solve that issue in the north. And then, when you think about how does Nigeria develop, becomes a powerhouse, obviously the issues around insecurity needs to be resolved. And the elites across all boards need to have a consensus on what they think Nigeria should be.
Well
the
done.
problem is this attempt to bring every part of Nigeria under a unitary government, when in fact we could attempt a true federation where individual regions or units can have some level of autonomy to develop at their own pace. And then the central government will be there to give assistance to those various regions in areas they might need. And when you look at Nigeria critically, basically every part of Nigeria has got a comparative advantage. When you look at the north, it's got vast landmass and it's got some mineral resources. Just imagine the gold deposit in Zamfara. There's been a lot of gold auction in Zamfara's gold in Dubai, but illegal mining and all. Imagine how much Nigeria could recruit from that. Then when you come towards the middle belt, a lot of solid minerals from lithium, all those renewable energy, it's in abundance. And of course, agriculture in the middle belt. And when you go down south, you have all your crude oil and other advantages, the seaports and everything. So I think it's just, you just need smart leadership that will allow every region to develop at its pace. And then who knows, maybe at some point, various regions may just decide to say, look, I think we're self-sufficient, we want to be on our own. Or let's do away with this ethnicity and religious issues. But at the moment, what needs to be done to save Nigeria is to deal with the insecurity and give every region some level of autonomy to develop at their own pace. I hope I've made some sense.
But don't they have that already, bro?
Yeah, you have made some points. You know, compared to a lot of people, I would like to speak.
When you speak of autonomy,
Can I come in now?
pardon?
Yeah, he has to answer a couple of questions. Like you talk
when
about
you speak of, go ahead.
security,
That
right?
first question.
Okay, let's do security questions.
Yeah.
I have you say you live in the UK, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you know, in order to solve a problem, you have to acknowledge you have a problem. Do you agree?
100%. I'm sure most
Okay.
Nigerians
All
acknowledge
right.
we've got a problem.
Okay, my question to you is, as a Nigerian, right? Knowing that security is an issue for you guys in Nigeria, why are you letting your leaders tell you that your problem come from the outside, and you guys agree with that? Why are you letting them do that to you?
Well. I mean, let's dial back a little.
Sure.
Where have you heard that Nigerians?
Okay, there was a. Sure. I will give you the evidence.
Allow me just respond.
Sure. If you want the evidence, I give you.
Well, I mean, you'll have to present.
I'm presenting. If you want to give you the evidence, if you allow me, I present the evidence to you, and you can. Okay. My problem that no. You see, no, it's not an opinion. My thing is, right, I come from the Sahel, not far from you guys, right? You know, when our leader were lying to us that our problem came from outside, we just sat back and let that become the reality, and come to find out our problem come from ourselves, and that's why we are able to solve our problem in the Sahel, because we know we have to link up to help one another. You guys, right? When I listen to the military leaders, the guy from Musa, the guy that used to be called Musa, I think he stepped down.
So
Musa.
who's speaking now?
Okay.
Who's speaking?
Okay. My name is St. James.
Oh, okay, all right. Can I just say something?
Okay. You just cut me off, but that's fine. You can go ahead.
No, I apologize. I think you were going on a tangent.
No, that's not a tangent. It's the evidence that I was giving you, but you don't want to hear it. That's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I agree with everything you're saying, Angelo.
Sure.
And I'm one that really disagree with the fact that Israel, US, the West are responsible for it. I completely disagree.
Even African countries near you, living next to you, you are complaining about them.
No. I think number one, we have to.
That's what St. James is coming from. You're coming from blaming your neighbors.
Right.
I would appreciate if I just say, well, I think we've got a
Trojan horse. Please do.
I think we've got a Trojan horse. You know what I mean? A virus in the country. Once you've got that virus, you lose that immunity, and then people can come from the outside. There's no denying the fact that we've got very porous borders, and a lot of people, some of the terrorist groups that operate in Nigeria, somewhere around the northwest region, the Lakwara groups, who are largely of Fulani ethnicity, and
there you go again. Okay,
there you go. Lakurawa, they're from Libya. It's a known fact. They're not Fulani. And also Boko Haram. The hardest and farmers classes. That's Fulani. Yeah, go on.
Okay, all right. I mean, There's a lot
No,
of
no, no, relax,
there's
relax.
a lot of
We gonna
people
get there.
But recently,
on the
Take your
panel.
time.
I apologize if I sound low.
Tinubu accused people from London. He said in London that
It's a
the
Sahel
terrorists are
problem.
from the Sahel country.
Hell,
No,
So I'm not sure why he accusing the Sahel country that the terrorists are from the
no,
Sahel.
CD. Let's take terrorism out because we're gonna talk to this guy,
Yeah.
right?
Do
We
no,
are all
okay.
West
Do you know
African,
what?
right?
James,
You guys were
so
giving the
do you know
statistics
what?
of the
So
people that commit the most crime, right? The most crime in West Africa.
Yeah.
You know that nationality. I'm not gonna give it, my Nigerian brother. The people that commit the most crime outside of their own country, we know who they are. We're
and
not gonna
can I
name and
just
shame
say
them today.
can I just say
But the
something?
idea that you guys go outside and point fingers at other people is ridiculous. We're gonna have
Can I
to
just
stop
say
that.
something?
That's true. Exactly, same James. I agree.
I think there's a lot of bad energy on the group. But let me say this:
Okay.
nobody can know Nigeria more than Nigerians.
Sure.
And if you bring out any Nigerian, the terrorism happening in the north
Okay.
is coming from. I mean, you have to look at Nigeria from the northwest perspective. Most of the terrorism there is coming from terrorists that have crossed the border. If you look at the northeast, most of the terrorism happening there are largely indigenous. If you look at Boko Haram, ISWAPs, they're of the Kanuri ethnic group, most of their composition. When you come towards the north central and the middle belt, what you describe as a farmer-hardest clash, it's not really a farmer-hardest clash. Because, I mean, I like to use this adage that the farm is stationary. The land is stationary. It does not move to go and clash with the cow. The cow invades the land and it takes over. Again, that's a problem of leadership and strong land use laws. In this day and age, for a
I agree with that.
like Nigeria that is growing in population, something like open grazing should not even be allowed.
Should be stopped by now, bro.
Hey, hold on one second. Did the comparable facts speak yet?
Pardon?
No, let him come in. Let him come in. He's been waiting. Yeah, let him come in.
Comparable facts. You there? Comparable facts.
Let him speak. Yeah.
Go ahead, comparable facts. My bad.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, greetings, brother. Greetings, everybody. I'm from Nigeria too. I'm like God gifted from Nigeria, but I'm from the southern part of Nigeria. So having said that, I think God gift has said something about the geographical part of Nigeria and what's happening in Nigeria. Yeah, I completely agree with him, but we have a more complex issue. No, initially you was talking about the millionaires from Africa. I mean from Nigeria. I think the number one billionaire we have, Dangote is from the north. I think the second richest person is from the north too. But overall, we have more, more millionaires or whatever you want to use in the south. So in the north, they are this thing. Their richness is not, is not as spread as this, the south is. Because in the north, most of their leaders, keep them in poverty. And then that's pretty much like overall, all part of Nigeria, our politicians use poverty to weaponize, us. So that's the problem we have in Nigeria. Nigeria problem is very deep. So it's not about north and south, but the north is more, is poorer compared to the south. Just because of their level of education, they are not allowed to go to school and something like that. They want to keep them in dungeon so they can exactly, use them the way they want to use them in terms of politics, tell them where to go, who to vote for. So that's why they're more, that's why they're more powerful in terms of political, because in the south, we're a little bit more, we're not docile like the south. I mean, like the northeast. So that's my main problem. But anyway, the situation we're having in Nigeria is more larger than the way you're saying it. Nigeria is a very complex country, to rule, regardless of who is good. I'm not here, to bash our president. He's our president, but he's one of the problems that we have, and Nigerian leaders have been in that way, in decades. So it's not just it's not Tinubu, Tinubu may be the worst at this present dispensation, we have right now. He's not my man by no means, so everybody knows about him. So, but anyway, it's going to take a lot. We have to have somebody who is compassionate, who has the political way to do the needful. That's what Nigeria is. But that's right now, even the people clamoring for the next one in 2027. I don't see it. I'm a big guy, but just the Nigerian system will not allow somebody,
like him, yeah,
to rule properly. It's not about who it is. Just Nigeria has this system that even at all you're from the diaspora, you're autocrats, you come here, you're gonna join them and behave like them. So the system in Nigeria is a problem.
Yeah, the system is a gangster system.
Okay, I have a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I have this is not when I asked a lot of my Nigerian friends these questions. Why is it that when you meet Nigerians in the diaspora, they never speak any positive thing or have the have the expectation that Nigeria will be better in the future. They all will tell you, that country is done. That country is not going to go anywhere. I don't know why you guys. It's very hard to see.
It's a very,
like
okay, that's a very good question.
Look, I'm not even Nigerian yet, but
try not to. If I'm in a Nigerian platform, let's assume Nigerian platform. This where we are right now, West Africa on international platform. I'm not going to come in international form, and bash Nigeria, demarket Nigeria. That's not me. But if I'm within the Nigerians, I'm going to say how it is, how I feel. I'm not, I'm going to demarket Nigeria within ours, but not on international forum. So the question is, why does everybody, in the diaphragm, most of them, I can say about 80%, this ill of Nigeria. That's true because we have been going through. I'm 50 something years old right now. I've been going through the same lack of electricity, decay. Nigeria. If you look at Nigerian economy and the system, it has pretty much, plateau. We are not progressing. Instead of we are regressing. Even with all our wealth we have in Africa, in Nigeria, mineral, oil, and everything.
Can I ask a question? But the only thing is, it will work if you have the positive attitude to say it's going to be better. Then you're go and elect someone. How can you elect someone like Tinubu? This guy cannot even move. Then you just don't have a democracy.
But you guys say that it's
if everybody say, well, Nigeria is not going to get better,
it's Nigeria's fault. The question is, right now, with the United States and Israel doing what they're doing, United States coming invading Nigeria, you're still saying that it's Nigerians' fault.
Guys, in all fairness, I know this guy. Minor prestige is cool. It's not one of those. Minor prestige.
Like $1 or $2. I'm serious. Because
Nigeria is
about 130. I think about 1,300 or 1,400 $1. So let's just say
when you see Nigerians fault,
he doesn't even give you the confidence.
The United States and Israel and France.
He doesn't even give you the confidence. Do you understand?
What does it take for the United States to invade again Nigeria? For y'all to say that it's not just our fault. It's also the Western world. They have basically pulled the covers back and said we're gonna show you that we're gonna do what we want to do. With Donald Trump in office, right?
Can I make a point quick? Sorry, man. Mano prestige, it's me Al, by the way. My Mano prestige, it's me Al. How you doing, okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, it's me.
Yeah. So Mano prestige is someone that I met in different channels before. He's a cool guy. He's not one of those that will bash Nigeria. I can guarantee you guys because I know he's someone that wants Nigeria to work. And I met him a few times. He's cool. The only thing is, like, me and him, we're he knows I'm a good supporter of Peter Obi. But what are the chances and what do you think people need to do this time to make sure he don't miss his chance?
You need to get France and United States and Israel potentially coming into Nigeria. You need to get them out your mix, out the paint.
That's not a problem,
you're not
man.
concerned with that. You're more concerned about you're concerned about the people that are complicit. I agree with you. There's complicitness amongst Nigerians who allow them to come in and do what they do on a corporate level.
But
they've been doing
I want him to answer the question, please. Can you answer the question?
No, brother, you there? I don't think he's there.
I don't think
Hey guys, let me read the super chat. That time all thank you for $5 holla. David Hundain said Africa's needs a containment plan for Nigeria. Also, Dinah dropped the link. I did drop the link, but Jagoon came on. Go ahead, Jagoon. The floor is yours.
Excellent, thank you. Good evening to everybody.
Are you Nigerian?
I must say that.
Are you Nigerian, sir?
Of course I am. I must say that the way I can understand the hatred against Nigeria to an extent. But
my brother, there is no hatred. The word is very strong. There is no hatred.
I can understand the hatred that comes from this platform.
No, it's no hatred, bro.
I'm going to say it again, the hatred. And it comes from a great degree of ignorance and self-centered.
You gotta wear your big boy's pants. Wear your big boy's pants, man.
We don't hate.
Man, go wear your big boy's pants and come back, bro. There's no hatred.
Hey, shut up.
Make it work.
Show, man. Let the guy.
Let's hear dropping out, please.
I can understand the hatred and the animosity towards Nigeria. It's a big country. It's a country where many of the West Africans are extremely jealous of. And it's a country that is a pain. I would not disagree. As I said, as a Nigerian, there's no one who's going to understand Nigeria's complexity more than Nigerians itself. Maybe people want Nigeria to be more than it is, and we all do. But the thing is, we must understand that Nigerians have gone through this for 60 years. So when we seem as though we are non-patriotic, which is wrong, we are patriotic, but we are fed up. People are frustrated with that country. There's a movement that we can't do as the people. The government or the gangster government has oppressed and taken over the country in such a way that right now we only have one political party in real sense. But that notwithstanding, you see, West Africa really needs to be grateful for Nigeria and what it's done. Nigeria's done more for the rest of West Africa than any other country. But it seems that from your mouths, you can just say anything easily, whether it be wrong or right. And you're all coming from an aspect that is largely wrong and unfair. But, you know, you can keep your rhetoric. It's up to you what you really think. I'm not going to change your mind for you. Having said that, Nigeria still has the most potential in the whole of Africa to do anything on the black stage. We see countries like Ghana, who are really pushing forward and are typical in the way they are trying to give black people a consciousness, a home, an understanding of what it is to be collectively black. And when we speak about Nigeria, it shows simply that we are not collectively black. We speak from a point of tribalism, whether we're in Nigeria or not. And largely, I heard a lot of tribalistic statements from people that I'm thinking, do you know what Nigeria's done for your country? Do you have any idea? And for me, it's like, are you stupid? I keep having to say, I believe that Africans are stupid. I believe
Just list two things that your country have done for countries. Just list two. We want to hear. Off the top of your head, just give us two.
I have a question for you. Nigeria has been in the past. We know about
no, for the past 30 years. The past 30 years. Let's go for the relax. We here. We're having a good conversation.
We are being factual.
We are having a good conversation. For the past 30 years, give me an example out of the past 30 years. Go ahead.
We've done too much. You answer that question.
Give us two. Give us at least two.
Okay, I have a question. James, wait, I have a quick first question for him.
Wait there, please. You give yourself the answer to your question. It'll be easy. If you don't know, then you have no reason to critique. If you don't know, you understand? Let me continue.
I will be here for the next 3 hours. If Daniel keep this live for 3 hours, I will be here.
Don't let me fight to say what I'm saying. Yeah. Nigeria, I'm not going to answer your stupid.
You know what the problem with Africa is?
Let me tell you this.
No one wants when your country is on display. No one wants the critics. No one wants the critics, right? That's the thing. Everybody wants the leadership role in Africa, right? Everybody wants the leadership role, but they don't want the critics.
Nigeria.
That don't work like that.
Put them down, yeah?
No, it's not about putting. You see, sometimes the critics makes you better. Sometimes the critics makes you better, and then you have to put yourself in position. Listen, you have to put yourself in position to receive the critics.
You know what?
To better yourself. It's not because people are criticizing you. That means that you are at the bottom. You can still be on top. You can still be on top, and people will still criticize you. That don't mean you're at the bottom. You have to accept it. Be able to accept it.
If we don't become factual, and Nigeria, that's the whole of the continent gone. Do you understand? So we have to.
When this guy came on here, he started calling hatred. Do you know the definition of hatred? Do you know the definition of hatred?
Imagine if right now Nigeria completely collapses. What's going to happen to the next countries and the next regions?
Finish with the Middle East, they're going to turn their attention to Africa again, to specifically to the Bight of Benin. They're going to turn themselves to there, and then here they come to take the Sahel down, and then they're going to put
that's true.
While we're talking about tribalism and the problem that we have internally.
We're not talking about tribalism.
While we're talking about the enterprise in Nigeria, they're making their own plans to take. They're making their own plans to, that consulate, that big consulate in Echo Atlantic is there for a reason. The French are involved. The Israelis will be involved in Nigeria. They're building cities all over Africa. These white cities that they're trying to build in Africa. They're going to recolonize it. They don't have you in mind. They don't have you in mind.
How are you going to be a leader if you can't even sit for 30 minutes and listen to critics? Man, Louis, man, I told you to take the name Prince out of your name. You're an embarrassment to Ghana. Take the name Prince out of your name. Please do. Man, take the name Prince out of your name, bro. That's why your people don't want you back in Ghana. You left it. You don't add value to Ghana. All you do is talk, disrespect, insult. No one wants to listen to you. No one wants to listen to you.
James, do you know all your air defense at the moment is to move next to the Nigerian border?
Try to control yourself, man. Come on, man.
You talking about this city? Have you seen? Can you see do the prince in your country behave like that? Do the prince in your country behave like that?
No.
Never.
Do you know this
guy is a fool, man.
Can I have my
You know
chance?
that
You guys stop
they
being
have
rude.
moved the air defense to the Burkina border. Yeah, go on. I'll give you the mic.
No, but he didn't make me. But one thing I will tell you,
You are a
St.
disgrace.
St. Jim,
You are
one
a
thing I will
disgrace.
tell you is
It's
you
not what I
guys
wanted
have
to say.
about 250 million population.
Why do I have to fight to talk?
If Burkina Faso can control
the
a
person who's
terrorist,
talking now,
why you guys
can you
cannot
be
control a
quiet
terrorist?
so I can have my chance?
Jagoon, I listened to you talk before. You're not a I respect Jagoon. We respect you up here. It's not the first time I listen to you speak, right? You are a very respectful man. I listened to you before. You are a very respectful man. You see what I'm saying? We have to have a Jagoon. We are just having an honest conversation.
Let's chill.
Hatred. There's no hatred at all.
Let him land. Let him finish. Let him finish.
You guys are highly strung.
No, Jagoon. You are mistaken. You are mistaking. You are mistaking what we are doing here. No. Let me finish. Jagoon. I have listened to you before. Address issues in Africa. You know, I respect your viewpoint. Let people have an honest conversation with you when it comes to Nigeria. There is respect. We respect Nigeria for what they have accomplished as a country at times and what the people have done. There is no disrespect. There is no hatred towards the Nigerians. Let's get it out of the way. If there was hatred, right? You know what we will do? No one will come on this live and talk about Nigeria because we will be making money. We will be going somewhere making money without even talking about you.
All right, enough.
Let
me speak.
Let him land.
It's terrible. It's as though that you're afraid of what. It's as though you are afraid of what I'm about to say, and there's no fear. I'm speaking from my.
That's your turn. You can do.
They're waiting for you, please.
I'm speaking from my sensibility and my observations, not yours. You keep yours. You understand? I've heard you not speak. I didn't interrupt any of you.
You interrupted me anyway. You did that, but that's fine.
Let me finish.
But you did interrupt me. I agree with that, though. You did.
You're triggered. You're all triggered.
No, I'm not really. No, come on. I'm not triggered. You interrupted me. No, you can go. I'm very polite.
It's not why I came on. I didn't come on to argue with anyone. I came on to make a statement. You understand? So, therefore, after 15 minutes of rubbish from you lot, let me speak. Nigeria is a country that me, as a Nigerian, I'm fed up to the back teeth of. I'm 50-something years old, like has been said, and in that, I've born in Nigeria, lived in London, lived all over the world, and I've made comparisons. And I know that Nigeria and West Africa as a whole could be the greatest place on this planet. And I feel strongly that Nigeria is doing a great job as a nation of holding the whole place back, holding itself back and holding a whole region back. But that shouldn't cause hatred. And I put that word in my sensibilities. I know what Nigeria is doing with people like Tinubu, with people in the government in this country, like this stupid woman, what's her name? Badenoch. With people like this.
Don't disrespect, please.
I do disrespect. I do that. I'm afraid you keep your disrespect or whatever it is. Keep yours, I'll keep mine. I don't like these people. These people are ruiners. Having said that, the country and the leaders of the country are given a big gap for the Westerners, the dying West, to enter in and to entertain its power and to even grow its power back. The West is very desperate at the moment, extremely desperate. Nigeria is a country like Iran. However, we are not Iranians. Iranians are strong back people. Now, it's not to say Nigerians are not, but Nigerians are oppressed and largely weakened by their own culture, really, by their own cultures, really. Nobody wants to say, if I say the word Fulani, everybody here will be tearing their eyes out. But the Nigerian Fulani, I don't know if he's quite different from the rest of the Fulanis, because the Fulanis that I personally know from other parts of Africa are not like the Fulanis of Nigeria. They're quite different. How or why, I don't know, but they are. They are. And in that, when I mention the Fulanis are a major problem in that country called Nigeria, every Fulani will be tearing their hair out like it's not true. It's true. It's very true.
But we don't see that way.
Wait, please, bro. Please.
Let him land.
I want to intervene because we never see Fulani being arrested for
let him dig himself more holes, please. Let him dig himself more holes.
Every trouble
Look at that damn fool, Africa. Where did that dig any hole? Anyway, forget you, because you're just crap. Let me land. The holes and the gaps that are being created for West Africa aren't necessarily only Nigerian, but they are largely Nigerian, because if Nigeria closes the door is truly closed. But Nigeria leaves the door open. It leaves the door open in the north. It doesn't leave the door open.
Jagoon, what? Come on, man.
Why don't you just let me finish?
Can you come on, wrap it up, bro?
Make your points. Come on, we're waiting.
Bro, you haven't given me a chance.
But you don't want to take questions.
I can take any questions.
So my
How
question
many
is,
units do you need?
if Burkina can contain a terrorist, Nigeria with 200 million population, why you guys can contain a terrorist?
Hold on. Give this
Bro,
guy 1 minute.
I'll tell you why. Let me answer that guy's
Go
question. I tell you why the terrorism is uncontained in Nigeria.
But
It's because it's
Burkina contain it, right?
Wait. It's because it's part of the system. Terrorism in Nigeria is a great part of the system. You know, when terrorists come in, especially in the Midwest, where there are many minerals, especially, in the Middle Belt region, what they do, they go into the Middle Belt, they terrorize the people, throw them off the land. Do you know what happens next? Lorries come in and start digging up the land and just taking out
It's
the
the
dirt.
same thing in Burkina. It's the same in Mali.
Well, then you answer your own question. You know what it is. Yeah. You see, you're answering your own question and you're asking me.
Yeah, but I'm saying that this small country that you said, Nigeria with 200 million population.
Bro. You see,
you guys can come up with 2 million military guys.
You may have the answer. You may have the answer. I don't know. But what I'm telling you,
you got until the end of this year in 2026, right?
Let me
if we don't get it taken care of, we're gonna just cross the border and come and put law and order in your country. We're just gonna go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
we're just gonna cross the border and come and do it.
The Burkina Faso have already moved their air defense. They already moved their air defense.
Let me say this. If you can handle it, we're gonna
just have to come and handle that for you.
Don't repeat yourself. You say that 4 times. Shut up.
Okay, no. If you are incompetent, I just don't want you to come on here talking about your incompetency because we're embarrassed at listening to you. I'm embarrassed right now.
You embarrass yourself.
I don't want to hear about incompetency. Tell me, are we moving forward? How Nigeria is moving forward? You are telling me, I'm sorry, we've been sorry, we have been... No. I don't want to hear you being sorry.
I didn't say sorry.
No, you're sorry. You're sorry yourself. You are sitting here. You said you are 50 years old and you're sorry yourself. No. Listen. No, Jagun.
You can't listen.
Jagun.
The only reason
No. Listen. What I'm not going to listen. Why, Jagun? Why we're not going to listen? Is you being sorry? Why we're not going to do is you being sorry? We don't want to hear you being sorry. We don't want to hear sorry. We're not sorry.
You're repeating yourself again.
We really can't hear that well.
About your incompetence.
No, you gotta get it. You gotta be able to get it together. When is gonna happen? Tell me. When Nigeria's gonna get it together? Tell me.
Never. Now,
when are you going back home? Because if 56 years,
I just came back from home.
This is not what we're talking about.
This man was on Tinubu. When Tinubu came to England, yeah. This man is speaking now. When Tinubu came to England, you know what he did to get crowd? He was actually dashing out money and envelopes so people can come out and support him, St. James and CD. Yeah. What I've seen online, people are accusing him. Yeah. People are accusing this man of you. Well, you be one of the people.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Do you think that?
Jagun, are you Yoruba? Jagun, are you Yoruba?
You see that brother? He's just a fool.
Jagun, are you Yoruba? Jagun, are you Yoruba?
See my name and then tell me where I'm from. Dennis, you're not doing your job, man. Dennis, I don't think Dennis must be sleeping.
No, I'm here. Guys, hold on. I was on a call.
Dennis, your guys have been.
Dennis, I haven't spoken for a minute.
He's been speaking forever. Let me speak now. This guy.
Okay, hold on. Give Jagun a minute and 30 seconds uninterrupted. Okay.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
A minute and 30 seconds. He said. And that's enough. That's enough for me to finish.
Go ahead.
You see, the people on this platform are a disgraceful bunch. And they're disgraceful because they can't allow someone to speak differently from the way they speak. They want everybody to tune in and talk shit. But I'm not one of you guys. I'm quite different. You know, I look at things reasonably and I want to speak reasonably. You understand? Anyway, having said that, the issues, as I've said, are tribal. Stupidity is ruling the game. We in Africa, we don't know how this world is spinning. And we don't know the advantage that we have, especially in that West Africa, who are largely educated people, largely cultured people. But we're so inward looking that we can't see the wood for the trees. What's happening right now in the world is that the West is going through a period of panic. And we, instead of bringing ourselves together and thinking the real issue through, what we do is that we're stabbing each other in the back as a people. Not even as a government. We know our governments are largely stupid. But do we have to be stupid along with them? Is what I'm asking. Do we have to? We should be one at this time and know what's going on globally and take our positions at the top table. We're nowhere near the top table. We have FBA one place. We have Nigerian people against Nigeria in the other place. We have Nigerians who are doing all kinds in another way. It's just wrangle and rubbish. We're not going forward. And we can, because we have the resources to, we have the mentality to. But as someone said earlier, we are not allowed to rise. Those who have the wherewithal are not allowed to rise to the top.
And we are sorry too, right?
Gangsterism is what's killing us. Wherever you're from, go to hell. You understand? Go to hell and reside there.
Just your weekend. You're too. God
56
bless
years
you.
old, you never go back home. You stay in the white man
God bless
country.
the Wild
Talking
West.
shit.
St. James, God bless the people of the Wild West. Oh, God bless our genes. Our genes are strong. Maybe that's why we have to spread out. After the man and the Muslim Empire, we have to spread out and pass our genes on. Some of these people need some of our genes, man. You can tell their genes are not strong enough, bro.
Yeah, man.
You need to
That
man up.
guy, the way he talking rubbish. I don't know where he comes from. Rubbish.
No, because they say
Welcome to the panel, Men High Council. What are your thoughts?
Good evening, everybody. It's the man in the high castle, and my thoughts are it's an excellent program over there. They really chop it up. They're not as uptight as people would maybe think. They're pretty level-headed over there. The structure, the host, but they're talking about internal conflicts. And it appears that it's wearing on the panel. And I would point out, because I've been on that panel a few dozen times within the last year of 2025. And I could say that, it just seems that people are getting more upset about what's going on the continent. That it's disorganized. A lot of orphans are being born. It's not the baby boom. It's these children are becoming orphans from the jump, and a lot of mouths to feed on a continent that doesn't have it together. But God bless. I believe that they have to. I believe that what they're going to have to do, because they've echoed it a couple times. They're saying, what would happen if, could Nigeria withstand all West Africa? And I didn't think that Nigeria was that much of an issue. I still don't, but it seems that these people really on the continent. These people on the panel aren't even living on the continent. Majority of them, 92% of them aren't living on the continent. But it goes to tell you what's going on with the continent right then and there.
Good point. The fact that the majority of the people that are communicating about Nigeria are not even in Nigeria. Why do you think that is?
Something that they've been. It's instinct now. I think it's just like how the mama sea turtle, she clutches her eggs on the beach and she goes straight to the ocean. However, when the children crack their eggs, they have a lot of predators on the beach ready for them, and only a small majority makes it to that ocean successfully. But it's their instinct to leave the beach and go to the ocean. I think it's the same way with Africa and Nigeria, especially.
Well, I don't know. I would say this is that the one thing I would say is at least that they are constantly sending money back to their hometown, their home country. So I don't think that they've left and just completely abandoned it. So at least they're connected in some way to where they come from.
Majority of Nigerians, they live outside of Nigeria. That's for certain.
Right, but they're also when they get their money, they send it to Nigeria.
That's what we hear. I think that's one of the tall tales of no particular order that people have established, and it's very faulty. It's there's a lot of flaws to that. I'm sending money back home. My brothers and sisters sending money back home, millions upon millions. It's not doing a thing. Something's going on, and it's a flawed way of thinking to believe that's continuing to go on. I don't think it was occurring as long as people are talking about it. I think it was for a short period of time, and most people have abandoned that.
You think they stopped sending money back home?
A long time ago.
Wow,
Long
that's
time
interesting.
ago.
Wow, let's go.
The problem is small country like Eritrea, the terrorists attacked Eritrea, they were able to fight the terrorists. Now Burkina Faso continuing the terrorists. So as long as Nigeria with 200 million population, you guys cannot come up with 1 million soldiers to fight the terrorists. And the sad part is all Nigerian soldiers when they go as a peacekeeping force in any country, they all desert from the army. They all leave the army and stay in that country. That's what we experience in Sierra Leone and Liberia. All these Nigerian soldiers that went to fight, almost 50 or 60% of them came back. They took off their uniform, they deserted from the army.
Listen.
So that's why you have a patriotism problem. And this is the fact. You're not looking
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for.
Do you know how many Nigerians come over to America and join the American military? Do you know that a lot of people that come into the United States come in joining the military?
I'm not sure how many. Could you tell me?
Let me look it up because I'm gonna say this: is that I was talking to a Nigerian person this morning, and he was talking
Could you
about.
tell me how many people? Since you said that, ask me a question. Can you tell me? I honestly said I don't. Can you tell me? Just give me a rough estimate.
Hold on.
So you don't know either. Okay. So it's hearsay.
Well, no. What happened is that I was on the phone with a Nigerian, and he was trying to tell me that I should put my daughter in the military. He says, like, many people come over into America through the military.
Yeah. Okay. I think the military is an excellent career for kids today.
Over
College is way
350.
too expensive. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. Hold on. Thousands serve, with Kenyans ranking first among African immigrants in the U.S. military. Roughly 0.4 Kenyans in the U.S. serve, 0.3 Ghanaians, and 0.1 Nigerians and South Africans. 24,000 immigrants were on active duty in 2012, and about 5,000 legal permanent residents. So people come into America through the military.
Okay.
They'll join the military just to come into America. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware that people take the military route of who are foreigners to get over here as a pathway and stay over here. Yes. However, I'm not surprised. Not at all. I mean, Uncle Sam is the greatest military recruiter on planet Earth.
Well, that's interesting. Like, the way to get into America is to join the American military. That's crazy.
For the great past leaders of northern Nigeria who were tough military generals who helped us, in the Far West when we have to war in Sierra Leone. I know if he was a Southerner that was the president of Nigeria at that time, it would not happen. Okay, let's be real. Let's not make this, then the entire Nigeria is not the same. But also, these troops who came to Sierra Leone to fight the rebels, they were peacekeeping force. And those that are trying to get involved in the fight, I saw when the rebels entered Freetown, CD, okay? When the rebel entered Freetown, these ECOMOG soldiers killed more civilians than the rebels. I'm telling you now, the Nigerians, they was panicking. They was panicking. The only people I seen that actually done a lot of the groundwork in the war in Sierra Leone are the Guinean troops. When the Guinean troops come in, bro, the rebels leave their weapons and run away. And listen, I'm not just gonna do just Nigerian. All the other, listen, we had even if Vietnamese troops that came to Sierra Leone, we had Vietnam people came here to fight. They couldn't do it. Only the Guineans that moved in during General Lansana Conte. May so rest in peace.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
When
even within Nigerian army again, if 90% of them are all Northerners, they serve in the military.
Thank you. And those in the middle belt. And
the other rest of Nigeria never serve in the army. And the one that serve in the army, they will leave the army and stay in our country. So that's why I said the Northerners are more patriotic than the other Nigerians. And
of course, they're more Pan-African. They're more Pan-African in their actions.
Yeah.
And right now we have the Southern Nigerians who are begging Trump to come and invade their country. Please, come. And you know, Burkina Faso right now have said all the air defense towards the Nigeria and Niger border because the American troops found themselves.
That's a fact. Hold on, say that again. What did you say, Africa?
The Burkina Bay have the Traore and the AES have sent all their air defenses to the Niger border as we speak because of the American military presence in Nigeria.
In Nigeria,
I believe they let them have like a base or something, right, over there. Speaking terrible, they were trying to let that.
So they are not only trying to sell the entire African continent based on their propaganda, they're trying to put our free brothers, in danger. And guess what? These people haven't learned because the people that you see in the Sahel, the people that you see in northern Nigeria, these are our brothers and sisters from the Sahel. And you don't understand, if the Southern Nigerians think they could use Americans trying to fight the brothers in the north, then they are fighting the entire West Africa. They haven't learned from history. This is the problem with the Southern Nigerians. They haven't learned from their history. Because people in the far west are not going to sit down when all this Manding and the Fula group and the Hausa group in the northern Nigeria being targeted by outsiders. They're not going to sit by.
Yeah, exactly. Like you saw what happened.
And the thing again is, instead of Tinubu working with those Sahel countries to fight the terrorists, he's not helping with them.
Hold on. So you remember what happened? You remember what happened a couple months ago with those pilots from America that came to Guinea, and Dumboya's troops took those guys, and the guys was like, "Oh, we're American. You're supposed to let us go." They said, "Nah, hell no. These people go to jail." He said, "Well, we got the passport." It's like, "Nah, you going to jail."
The problem is these people. These are the new generation of Nigerians. They don't know the history of West Africa at all. They don't understand what Northern Nigeria is. If in Northern Nigeria, it's only just Hausa and the Hausa land.
Anyway, continue talking shit. They're talking rubbish. Who doesn't know the history?
All right, you don't know the history, bro. The only thing you know is about Yoruba land.
Do you know the relationship? Do you know the relationship between the Hausa people and the Yoruba people and the Nupi people?
You've been fighting each other. The Ariba was given to you by the Hausa.
No, not the Hausa, the Nupi, not the Hausa.
No, Yariba.
You can't tell me, bro. You can't tell me. I know exactly what
the Nupi people that you came into be close with. Yeah, you're close to them. You know, you're close. You don't know what's the name. What's the meaning of Yariba then? What's the meaning of Yariba?
Bro, you have no idea.
What's the meaning of Yariba?
Answer the question.
What's the meaning?
What's the meaning?
What's the meaning? What do you mean? I know my meaning.
What's the meaning?
I know my meaning, and it doesn't come from the Hausa at all. Just go and research it. You'll find it was the Bariga, and the Nupe.
Nigeria maybe 40 years ago. He doesn't even
the meaning of your word
Yoruba. You're an idiot, bro. You have no idea. Just because my accent is like this, it doesn't mean anything.
Untrustworthy, cunning,
let me ask you, do you have
unreliable.
It's not your language. It's not your language. It's not your language.
Whether my language is there, everybody can Google it right now. Please,
but
channel in the chat. Google the meaning of Yoruba. Everybody,
actually, I tell you wrong. The meaning of the word Yoruba in Yariba, it means that we raise our voices. That's what it actually means. It means that we're loud, and we are loud. All those additions that you read about, they're not. It's not Hausa language.
Cunning or tricky. You're deceitful and cunning people. That's the definition. It's not all right. Is it true?
No, it's not. That's not the definition. That's not the definition.
Can anybody Google it now, please? Can anyone Google it? If I'm wrong,
Google doesn't know everything. Yariba. It means to raise.
Africa is right. He's right.
No, he's not right. It means actually the first meaning is to raise your voice. Don't raise their voices. That's what it actually means.
I just have a question for Jagoon. Does Nigeria need help from us? Do you guys think you're too big to ask for help?
Bruv, listen to me, yeah? and listen to me first. And hold your peace. This is what I'm going to say in answering your question. This is what I'm going to say in answering your question. In answering your question.
These people think
in answering, wait, he didn't ask you. He didn't ask you. You giddy up. In answering your question. In answering your question. Look at this fool, damn fool. In answering your question.
All right, boy.
Media. You can't say that in front of me. I'll smash you. You get smashed into pieces. Anyway. Anyway, what in answering your question? In answering your question, foolish person.
I'm listening.
In answering your question, the people who are running Nigeria, you're playing like I'm running Nigeria. I'm not running.
I'm just asking a question from the outside looking in.
The answer you're going to get is that the people who are running Nigeria aren't asking anyone any questions. They're following their masters.
As a Nigerian citizen, as you, not the people that are running Nigeria, as a Nigerian citizen living outside, benefiting from this panel here with the other Africans, right?
All right.
What do you think? Do you guys need help, or you are too proud of yourself to ask for help? That's what I'm asking. That's it.
I don't know if you're too proud because most Nigerians would just want to click their fingers. Most Nigerians would just want to click their fingers and have a change in the nation. That's the fact. It's not right. What it is, however, do you think if nobody else is involved? Just West Africans. Do you think if there was a war between the whole of West Africa and Nigeria, what would be the outcome in your mind?
Just because you can't even fight the Northerners.
I'm asking a question.
I didn't even hear the question.
I'll say it again for those who want to listen.
Sure.
If Nigeria were having a war with the rest of West Africa, what in your mind would be the outcome?
Nigeria alone against the entire West Africa?
I think Nigeria will collapse.
We will defeat, bro. It's not one day.
Yeah, Nigeria will collapse within.
Against the entire West Africa? Are you serious, bro?
No, it's just a question, bro.
Are you being serious? Like, what are you drinking while you're talking? Like, what are you drinking?
You guys can't fight the terrorists that don't even have a gun. You're getting me.
Even Bello to the House of Republic.
Okay, let me ask you a better question. Let me open up. If Nigeria did collapse,
which we don't want. We don't want.
No, we don't want. Well, if it did, I agree. If it did, what would happen to the rest of West Africa?
We will be here.
They will be here. The criminals.
All we gotta do is close our borders. Let them just walk all the way to Europe. That's what we're gonna do.
We'll accept the mandate. We'll accept the mandate, right? We will accept the mandate. The house will take them in, and anyone else will have to go to Europe to their white studies. And listen, this is
including Jabu.
You'll say in the UK, I guarantee you, this is what we think of you, Japan, in the Far West. I don't think you know, bro. This is exactly what we think of you in the Far West, in the Wild West. When I say Wild West, I'm talking about from Senegal down all the way to Gambia, Guinea, Sierra Leone. All this, you're lucky we kept your people in Sierra Leone, bro. In fact, this guy that's coming here talking to me like rubbish, he's actually got the audacity. Even your city, Lagos, that you're boasting of belong to your so-called people who is civilized and actually educated. We send them back with some skills that build your city that you actually blabbing about now. And also,
you really, bro. There's nothing you can do about it. You're going to be
you can insult me because you ain't got nothing else to come back after us. It's a small country like Sierra Leone.
You're an idiot.
It's a small country like Sierra Leone civilized the entire fucking race, bro. This is a fact. The old modern days of Yoruba. Listen, I'm a full Creole. I grew up in the area where they house of people, where they were studied, where they actually teach them about modern day technology and education before we even send you back. And
that's true. I've been to Sierra Leone.
Someone like Anthony Joshua, we already mix our blood in him before we send him his ashes back to you.
That's true.
Yeah, just be careful what you're talking, bro.
Yeah, you're begging again. More begging. That's who your people are going to beg. Someone like Anthony Joshua.
Someone like Anthony Joshua, we already tapped him before we send them back. Yeah,
rubbish.
See that? Is it rubbish? That's what you can say.
It's rubbish.
Go to the dentist, man, and come talk to me later.
Jago. There is a saying, right? You will never be able to lead from behind. You know that, right?
What does that mean?
It means what it means. That's just an expression, right? You cannot lead from behind. What are you doing?
Man, it's crazy how they can understand what each other are saying. Because I can't understand shit that's going on. That accent is so thick, but they understand exactly what each other are saying. That's crazy.
You know.
Let me give you.
You see the new Africans right now, right? You see why people like. Let me finish. You see why people like you, right? All we gotta do is do an open mic, put you on the channel, right, on the panel, and the rest of the entire Africa will laugh at you. Why? Because you don't connect.
I don't care.
Because you don't connect. Because you see, there is something called you have to recalibrate. You know, your opinions when you talk. You see, in West Africa, right? Your pride is your ego. You guys are too egotistical. When you talk about it, you get mad. But
no, I didn't get mad. I was just saying.
You came on here, you say hatred. That's why I tried to talk to you like 3 times. I said no, there is no hatred. I tried. I said there is no hatred. You said there is hatred. I said no.
The problem is once you speak about Ghana and Nigeria, they will say that you hate their country. And these are the two countries that cause too much trouble for West Africa. But once you speak against them, nope, they hate their country. Everything passes.
What Nigeria has done, right? Let's talk about soccer, right? Let's talk about when Nigeria used to play soccer and they used to play internationally, right? They used to play internationally, all African countries, right? We support Nigeria.
Going back to your saying, because you said that you cannot lead from behind. Okay, I take that on board.
Based on everything that you said, technically,
wait. You know a pack of wolves. Would you say wolves are rather formidable creatures, especially in the way they hunt? The way they hunt, right? They put the oldest and the weakest at the front. The next group that they put are the strong, the actual warriors. The people in the middle are the kids and the mothers, and then the person at the back are the lone wolves, the hardest wolves. They're at the back, protecting from behind.
You see, I'm just giving you a position. I don't need a position. I'm going to perform. So they're putting the weak in front and behind. It don't work for me.
Yeah.
Any position, we want to get the job done. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Tomorrow is coming.
Hey, don't let Jagoon walk away. Don't let him run.
I'm here. You know, I test on weaklings compared. You can't do that to me. Don't worry. You'll reach my age, and then you'd have an idiot like yourself laughing at me. Come on.
Okay. Done.
All right. Greetings.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, that's Lewis in the background. That's him. Like, you gotta mute yourself, man, Lewis.
Yeah, someone needs to mute. Keep him coming next.
Lewis, you gotta mute yourself.
Is that Jagoon, man? God damn.
That's Jagoon.
No, he's having a heart attack.
Boy. Okay, I'll try to listen. Hello. Yo, I actually can't focus. I know, it's kind of hard.
You guys are exhausted. Jagoon's tired. Fucking tired right now.
He's getting a heart attack, bro.
I'm right here, man.
Hey, lover.
Don't taste me. I can understand why your countries are nothing, and I have never been.
Yeah, right. You're lucky you met us. Okay, and we tap your chin, then we get there, send them back to get preacher and all day. Yeah,
look at that.
Yeah, man. All right. What's the thing gonna do? Yeah, go on, man. Go
on. So, there is a screen share that you wanted me to show of Mama. Let me see.
It's for anyone who comes back there, but John Mahama, he is the president of Ghana. Currently, he replaces Nana Addo, the former Ghanaian president. However, I'm pointing out that Africa's issues, again, when the African is born on the continent, it's become instinct for them. I don't know if it's social engineering, but it's instinct for them to leave Africa altogether. While you see this one woman, this American woman, who went to school in Ghana, graduated, and she is on the Artemis flight right now. I've been knowing about this for about at least a week since the flight had happened, but it baffles my mind how these people continuously leave Africa, just like their misleaders. They all go to a foreign college, and this is the biggest issue. There's so many lovely universities all throughout the continent, but they all abandoned, beginning with Kwame Nkrumah, with Lincoln University, all of them. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's become saturated. This is what they do. I'm not an African, yet I can look at observation-wise what the dilemma is. They keep leaving and abandoning. There's no amount of money that one can send back that's built from home. But yeah, she's doing it. She did it. This should be an incentive. Now let's study from home. Yeah, okay, we can study from abroad too. Let's have our primary college higher degree study at home. Let's make this an emphasize on it. Stress it. They don't. They never have. But this whole chaos of West Africa, this made up term, West Africa, this started to occur in the 2000s where it really got popular. But so there's a North Africa, there's a country called South Africa, there's an East Africa, there's a West, man, cut it out. And so this is why they look at each other differently so much. I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I'm pretty sure the people there on the continent are well endowed in their mind and they're talented altogether. But the ones who are coming over here, these are the foulest ones.
Well, I did want to speaking of Africa, I want to give a shout out to African Bambaataa. He passed away, but I'm not sure if I
Africa
can be shouting him out. African Bambaataa passed away today.
The diddler?
Yeah, he passed away today. The diddly
he passed away. He made some great music, even with the Kraftwerk sample. Made incredible music. I'm not gonna shit on someone's legendary musical accomplishments. However, I don't think those stories are made up. And yeah, he was a diddler for real, hardcore. And when I say diddler, I'm not talking about P. Diddy. I'm talking about like level 5 SO offender. SA offender. This is what it came down to in the New York population. They protected him.
So let's see some other things in the news because I'm about to wrap this up. But let's hear this last thing, and let's get some voices on. Listen.
The volume.
No, you can't hear it, guys.
I can't.
All right, I'm going to bring it back up. Hold on. Because I thought this was really interesting. Before we like roll this whole thing, get done, I want to. I thought it was really interesting. So it's a white senator says the unthinkable about Black Americans. While everybody's like kind of like chuckling on that thing about arguing about like who each other is, and it's kind of a joke. This is what's being said in America about Black people. Let's go.
Okay, so I got the transcripts. Mitch, we have to bring slavery back.
Do you hear this?
Those were the good old days. Kevin, how will we do
Yes.
that? No way we can do that. Mitch, Black people won't do it, but white people will. Kevin, how will we get white people to be slaves? That sounds ridiculous. Mitch, we have to get rid of the separation of church and state. We must have state-funded religious schools. Kevin, I don't see where you're getting at. Mitch, those schools will have work programs for 4th through 8th graders. Kevin, I think I see where you're going here. How is that going to work? Mitch, we get the kids to pick all the produce as a part of their work program to teach them the values of good old-fashioned blue-collar labor and the bounty of God. Kevin, I don't think that anyone will go for that. Mitch, it's all about grooming. Start in the 1st grade, and by 4th grade, they'll be ready to do it. Kevin, but we already have people to pick the produce. Mitch, we have to finish the wall. Kevin, no way that's going to happen. Mitch, we find better ways to get the immigrants out of the United States. Kevin, like doubling ICE. Mitch, yes. Kevin, this will be too hard, and we'll be too busy trying to sustain this over long periods of time and generations. Mitch, no, we get rid of the abortion laws in the United States and we make it mandatory that all 8th grade females be impregnated in order to graduate. Kevin, like replacing the crops. Ha ha ha, pun intended. Also, Kevin, I will work on getting the abortion ban. You work on state-funded religious schools. Mitch, we don't have to do either. Lindsay and I took care of that with the new SCOTUS.
These folks said it is better to be a slave than to be dead. And not only was this released on an educational program for kids, but the Department of Education in Florida has approved it to be a part of a curriculum for kids. And what's crazy is y'all don't even see the trajectory that this is going in. A couple weeks ago, they released a transcript stating how they weren't going to try to get the Blacks back out in the fields because they are aware that we ain't going back out in the fields. Their target has changed from Blacks to little white babies. They're targeting their own kind, and even going so far as to open up schools and put it as a part of a curriculum so that they can train them that this is okay. Even went so far in the transcript to say that to make sure that they can keep the legacy going, they will make sure that every girl in the 8th grade was impregnated so that they never run out of slaves.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching this video from. As you know, I'm your host and presenter, HDX Stories. There is a leaked conversation. I think it's a phone conversation between McConnell and Kevin McCarthy. McConnell is American senator. Is close to around 90 years old. And we can definitely see that what they're discussing is something that has been sparking debate. And we have people that are saying that all that conversation is not verified. And we have those people that are saying that The conversation is verified, and we are having divided opinions in regards to this. But if this is really true, then this is so sad. It's really sad. Having this conversation, especially in the 21st century, knowing very well that America consists of Black Americans, people who are still going through the trauma that comes with slavery, the trauma that comes with redlining, the trauma that comes with forced labor and everything. Because when you get to listen to that part of history, and this is something that happened to Black people like firsthand, you know how white women forced Black men and Black women to have kids so that they can have a continued generation of slaves, so that they don't get run out of slaves. But we have people that have benefited enormously from slavery, from Black American slavery. And understand that the American economy and everything that we are seeing that is shining today, it is as a result of a Black person. Black people worked tirelessly hard, not being paid, not being acknowledged, not owning patent rights for the things that they did and everything. So that's how these folks want that time to come back. They want to control Black people. They want to have full control of Black people, because right now they're feeling that there is power which is running out of them, because they have no control over Black people. They cannot own, they cannot control Black people. Why am I saying so? Because think about it in this way. Remember when Trump really wanted Black people to go and work on the farms, to go and till the land and work for minimum wage, but Black people said no. And this all tells you that these people doesn't have power. And it is crazy, because after slavery, after slavery ended, the things that they started doing, now they turned to their own people. They turned to some white people. They started targeting babies. They started targeting women. And then you ask yourself, why are Black women missing? Why are Black men missing? Why is this thing happening? We have cases with Epstein files and all these things that are going on. And it's crazy, brothers and sisters. I want us to watch this video. I'll be back. I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this. As you know, I'm your host and presenter, Geopolitics Stories. And for those who are watching it for the first time, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get to see what I can offer you. But until then, just watch the video. I'm going to be back.
I've heard the leaked audio from July 2022 from Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy. I haven't been able to validate it though, so I'm not going to repost it, but it's out there. I just don't know if it's AI or if it's real. If you find out, let me know and I will put it out there.
I don't know if it's real either, but there's a lot of weird shit going on. A lot of weird stuff. So, and I think this
volume on that one.
Hold on. Let me Right, let me rewind this, because it's for some reason whenever I play these videos, StreamYard gets to tripping and not playing the audio. All right, share. I'll play this one last. Listen, because I'm tired. So let's check this out. Go ahead.
I've been noticing for years that the Trump cult is absolutely obsessed with Barack Obama. So I decided to do some research to try and find out why the MAGA cult is so obsessed with Obama. Barack Obama has not been president for 10 years, and MAGA can't stop talking about him. They are literally obsessed with the man. They try and blame him for things that are happening today. That's not random. There's a psychological reason for that, although it seems a little creepy. Here are the 4 reasons the Trump cult is obsessed with President Obama. 1. The psychological wage of whiteness. In 1935, sociologist W.E.B. Du Bois at Atlanta University studied poor white Americans. White Americans, even the poor ones, with no money and no power, felt superior to Black Americans. Not because they earned it, but because for 250 years, the entire system told them they were superior to Black people. The law said it, the church said it, the culture said it. Du Bois called it the psychological wage of whiteness. This is a status payment people collect just for being white, a floor that white people couldn't fall beneath. Then Barack Obama became president. He occupied the highest status role in the country. That destroyed the floor. And when a status floor breaks, people don't quietly adjust. They backlash. Obama didn't just win an election. He took something they didn't even know they were depending on. They didn't earn this special status, but they thought it was stolen when Barack Obama got elected. And they've been trying to take it back ever since. 2. Social identity threat. Psychologist Henry Teifel at the University of Bristol spent decades studying in-group conflict. What he found was when a member of an out-group outperforms the in-group, the psychological response is not one of admiration, but hostility. Teifel called this social identity threat. A failed Black president would have confirmed the Trump cult's worldview, but Obama, being polished, competent, scandal-free, and widely respected by world leaders, made it impossible to call him incompetent. The better Obama performed, the more threatening he became to the cult, not because of his policies, but because his success directly contradicted.
Let me tell you something. I get sick of people reading off of AI. And you could tell when they read off of this is not a such and such. It's a this, it gets a list. AI will say, this isn't culture. It's this, it's that, it's the other thing. Like, bro, that is like not even the way people talk. That's how you know when AI is talking, right? It's this wasn't a such and such. It is a this. It is a that. It gets a listing what it isn't. And what the fuck? Who talks like this? I don't know if this is a real psychologist, but you know, I get it. You know, he's trying to break down why, but this is AI. I don't play the AI shit. I don't like the fake AI stuff. I'm trying to find a good place to end my video with a good video, but let's do this one. Let's go.
Called Our Skin that has been endorsed by NACI. And I'm going to read exactly what this book says. You guys might find it interesting. A long time ago, way before you were born, a group of white people made up an idea called race. They sorted people by skin color and said that white people were better, smarter, prettier, and they deserved more than everybody else. This would be taught if we socialize our pre-K system. This would be taught.
Do you disagree with that findings in the book?
1,000%. How about we teach Jesus loves me? How about this? In teaching Jesus loves the little children, the lyrics go red and yellow, black and white. They're all precious in our sight. Now, which one would you think would be better? I'll ask everybody on the panel, which is better to teach? This, that is a story that was made up to teach our kids, 3-year-olds who have no idea what race is, now all of a sudden is being taught that white people said this as a truth. Someone point at me that this being a truth, that white people developed race, that white people developed that all of a sudden that was our word that we developed. By the way, I'm Cherokee, Native American. I think we have experienced a little bit of racism before in my life, Chairman.
Senator Mullen.
So I ask everybody on the panel, which one is better to teach? This or the Jesus Loves Me lyrics? Ma'am, I'll start down here. Just tell me which one. I don't have time for next.
What I'll tell you, Senator Mullen, is that what children in these early years develop their identity.
The question.
It's
the
important.
Question is which
it's important that our classrooms.
I'm just asking which one is better.
Let her answer the question, please.
My question is this.
She will answer it as she sees fit.
Which one is better?
It's important. It's important that children's identity and language and culture are recognized.
That's not answering my question.
And that's what creates strong executive function.
If you don't want to answer my question, that's fine. Let's move on down the panel. Which was exactly, that's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape.
Misspoke. So what I'm saying is which one is which? Which one is better to be taught, Mr. Chairman? Is it this, or is it the Jesus?
Is your question directed to me or Ms. Woman?
Well, you keep interrupting me saying they're not asking the question,
Want to ask
and I
me the
wish
question?
you'd really stay out of
No,
my
no, no.
questions, 'cause
It's his
my
question.
time.
He gets to dictate it.
Which
Not
one?
dictated. Ask the question.
Which one?
Talking to Ms. Woman, right?
Yes,
As I stated, Jesus is always first.
absolutely. I agree with that.
A lot of white women are in prisons of their own making, and on some level, they know this. I was talking to somebody in Chicago that I knew
Child,
shortly
why would
before
the
I
black
moved.
woman
She was somebody who was
Jesus
just like
first?
in my Pilates class. And she said, "Oh, that's cool that you do that feminism stuff. I'm just not very active in that scene. I don't really want to be." I was like, "Why? That's really strange to hear that from you because you're a woman and every single person benefits, man or woman, honestly benefits from feminism." She said, "Because I think feminism will make me realize how much I hate my husband in my life." I think that her experience is in no way, shape, or form unique. And while this girl wasn't inherently a bad or mean person, I can imagine that she is complicit in a lot of systems that uphold white supremacy, racism, and patriarchy. Because even by being married to someone who doesn't treat her right, that she doesn't particularly enjoy, she is bought into this propaganda that everything can be okay as long as you have a man in your life, especially a white man. And so I think a lot of white women, that's why they become so racist. That's why they become so mean to younger women, because they know that they do not want to be living the life that they're living. And that the more they think about feminism, the more that they're going to hate themselves and their status, which will give them no choice but to change their circumstance, and they don't want to upend their life.
Suddenly they began to realize that the system that they built, oh yes, the system has been built centuries back. So now they realize that the system is not favoring them anymore. The system is against their growth. The system is hindering their morality. The system is making them to be more poor. The system is making them uncomfortable. The system is not benefiting them. That is the reason why they are speaking up now. And the question we should ask is that really, why are you guys speaking now? Why are you guys, even at the Congress, in the government, parastatals, senators, when they're speaking, when they're debating, this is exactly what they're speaking about. Oh, suddenly they know that the curriculum in the school system is not good anymore. Suddenly they realize that, the policies of the president, when, he did all that he's doing right now, they were quiet, but now, haven't watched for a while, they realize that it is not favoring them. And now they began to speak. Anyway, guys, I want to say thank you to everyone that has been a part of this community by liking, subscribing, and sharing my video. I'm grateful. I mean, all the gifts, super thanks, buy me coffee. I am here to say thank you to everybody that has been doing that to me. I'm grateful. Your comments, your view, your participation keeps me going. And I want to say thank you. Today, we're looking at videos, creators, what they are saying about the system that white folks created. And now it looks like it's not favoring them. They began to speak, all because it's not favoring them. Why is that happening? We'll be checking that in all of this video that I've put together for a credible original creator of every content and stitches. Let's go check it out. And when I come back, the conversation will continue. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
I'm tired of Black people pretending like they are the ones that didn't start slavery because they were. It definitely pissed off the Black community, and it is what it is. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Isn't it ironic that white people think that Black people started slavery in America? I'm not here to ridicule Athena. I'm here to provide the unfiltered truth with evidence to half of the American population that clearly isn't aware of this fact. Let's start by dissecting their argument. An African Angolan man arrived in Virginia in 1621 named Anthony Johnson. He worked 12 years to earn his freedom, but in 1654, he later found out about some loopholes in Virginia's laws and was able to acquire land and slaves. But one of Anthony Johnson's slaves tried to run away. Anthony Johnson successfully won his case in 1655 and was able to keep his servant, John Kaser, for the remainder of his life. This is one of the first cases of legal formalization of chattel slavery in America, and why thousands, maybe even millions of Americans think slavery all transpired here. Even if you search up on your web browser, who was the first American slave owner? This is what the American media wants you to think. Even TikTok historians and teachers are agreeing with this narrative. And these are the people teaching our future generations, by the way. But this is far from the truth because of a man named Hugh Gwynn. Hugh Gwynn was a British colonist who was successfully able to sanction his slave, John Punch, in the Virginia colony. Hugh Gwynn went to the General Court of Virginia on July 9th, 1640, regarding 3 of his slaves that ran away to Maryland, one of them being John Punch. Unfortunately, Hugh Gwynn won his case and John Punch had to serve him for the remainder of his life, making it the first case of legal racialized slavery in the Virginia colony. So unfortunate that European descendants in America can go around and tell African descendants in America that, oh, our ancestors didn't oppress you. You oppress yourselves. As if the transatlantic slave trade didn't happen a whole 100 years prior to that, where Portuguese people enslaved and trafficked African people. And a large portion of that transportation went to America. And I'll end it off with this, like how this Reddit user said here. Do you wonder why it's so interesting that America is depicting the first documented slave owner to be Black? Well, let me tell you this. White American Europeans let that Black man who used to be a slave own a slave because it further fueled their message and their narrative. Why? Because we're still oppressed. Why? Because we're still arguing about this centuries later. In a white-dominated society, why give this Black man the power to be a slave master when he can't even vote or even own a business? I think we all know the real reason, and ignorance is bliss.
I pissed off the Black community. I definitely pissed off the Black community, and it is what it is. I don't know what you want me to tell you. But apparently I am uneducated. So let's go through why I said what I said in that video, because I stand 10 toes down on it.
Hi, I'm Dr. C, and you have my attention.
Back in the 1600s, Black people, specifically Africans, were not just stolen. They were sold off by other Africans.
So the first mistake here is the use of the term Black to describe Africans at the time of the transatlantic slave trade, as though all of the peoples of Africa had a common racial identity that is analogous to the usage of the term Black in our contemporary context. While racial identities like white and Black are international, they are not conceptualized consistently across countries. The meaning of those concepts are very much bound by cultural context. It is also worth noting that the ideas of whiteness and Blackness didn't really begin to start developing until the mid-1400s, when the Portuguese sought to explain why it was okay for them to enslave Africans. It would then take another 200 to 300 years for the concept of race to really become concrete and be tied to biology through pseudoscience. All of that is to say that using the modern term Black as it's used in our contemporary moment to describe Africans in the 15th, 16th, or even 17th century is gratuitously inaccurate. Furthermore, the continent of Africa is much larger than the entirety of North America, and so suggesting that those Africans are selling off each other as though they had a collective identity is at best woefully uninformed, or at worst virulently bigoted.
At that time, slavery wasn't really a term or a thing. They had indentured servants. These servants had time limits of how long they were going to be working. So after these 3 years, you're free to go. And honestly, truthfully, a lot of these men and women chose to become indentured servants because it wasn't a forever thing, it wasn't a long thing, and they would be able to freely come into America. Not saying that it was right. I'm just saying some of these men and women did go by choice so they could leave their home country.
While you may be able to find historical accounts of Africans putting themselves in indentured servitude in order to leave the continent, this is a phenomenon that is far more heavily associated with the poor Europeans attempting to come to the colonies in the Americas.
What I said in my video was that Black people created slavery. They started slavery. What I didn't specify was that I clarified this in the comments immediately after uploading, but just not in the video specifically. But before this drama took place, I clarified it right when I put up the video, that I was talking about in the US, not the entire world, because that predates 10,000 years. I was not getting into all that. So I was talking about here at home.
You don't have to talk about 10,000 years worth of history. You could just talk about the last 600, because that's what's most pertinent to the history of American slavery. And also that'd be a much more reasonable amount of information for you to manage.
Now, he accumulated over 200 acres of land over that time, and he also accumulated about 15 to 16 slaves, 6 or 7 of them being African American and the rest being white. Or, I'm sorry, servants, not slaves. Now, things went awry a few years later, around 1653, I think, one of those, where one of his servants, last name of Kaser or Kasser, left because he claimed that his servitude was up and expired. So he left to go work for a different owner. Anthony Johnson then brought it to court and sued that family to have Kasser be returned to him. After a couple of years through the Virginia court system, they actually went in Johnson's favor and brought Kasser back to Anthony Johnson, claiming him as a slave for life, thus creating slavery, legal slavery, not servitude, legal slavery here in America. It was because of Anthony Johnson, who was a Black man, which is what I was referencing in my video, no matter how poor the delivery, which I admit it was atrocious. So I apologize for that.
So this is wrong on 4 counts, and the most superficial of which is that the court case with Anthony Johnson occurred in 1655. The second count is John Punch. He was an indentured servant from Africa who in 1640 attempted to break his contract by escaping with 2 other European servants. All 3 were captured and all 3 had time added on to their service. The 2 Europeans had 4 years added on to their service, but John Punch was sentenced to a life of servitude, effectively lifelong slavery. According to all of the available evidence, this was the first time that slavery had ever been used as a punishment for a crime, and the only reason for doing so, it seems, was that he was African. The third count of inaccuracy is that in 1619, 20 enslaved Africans were brought to a British colony in Virginia, thus establishing the British slave trade in the Americas. You may be familiar with a little book called the 1619 Project, which took its title from this historical event. And the fourth count is that in the early 1500s, the Spanish were already practicing a proto-racialized form of slavery by capturing indigenous peoples, not just in the Caribbean, but off of mainland North America as well, particularly the southeast coast and what is modern-day South Carolina. You know, I've done a few of these correction videos over the years, and I don't know of anyone who's been wrong 4 different ways off of one claim. It's kind of impressive, if I'm being honest.
As for the rest of it, yes, Black people are still enslaving Black people today. And yes, there were white slaves. Every single background and origin on the planet has been oppressed or enslaved or servants at some point in time.
Okay, real quick. Yes, almost every, if not every, cultural group in the world has experienced the phenomenon of forced labor at some point in their history, but the overwhelming majority of those experiences are not relevant to the creation of the United States. Next, there is no evidence of Black people owning Black people in the United States at this point in time, because remember, that was the entire premise of the video, was that we are talking about American slavery, not international slavery. And third, there is no record of any people that were deemed white at the time of having been enslaved in the history of the United States. Unless, of course, what this creator is doing is conflating indentured servitude with slavery after they just made a fine point throughout that video of separating the two phenomena.
The white race did not invent slavery, but they were the race that ended it.
Slavery has yet to end in the United States. It's just evolved into prison labor and the exploitation of undocumented immigrants, although somehow I suspect that this creator is not concerned about that. Now, credit where it's due. There were some white folks who helped to end chattel slavery, and they were the ones who sided with the Black and brown folks and were willing to point guns at other white folks.
I say in many, many other videos, if I missed anything or forgot anything or didn't know something, feel free to comment it below. I don't care. I'm always open to conversation. I love talking about this kind of stuff. But for tens of thousands of Black people to get up in my comments daily and call me uneducated or God knows what else, yet not one of them actually is doing the educating, how do you expect people to learn if you are unapproachable and mean? Riddle me.
Now, there is more in that creator's video that I'm just choosing not to engage with because some of it is wrong to the point of being confusing, and I don't want to get bogged down. So I'm just going to end this with a podcast recommendation for those of you who are watching this and don't want to seem vibrantly uninformed, like the world's most ignorant peacock. The podcast is called Seen on Radio. That's SCENE. And the second season is called Seeing White. It is an excellent scholarly overview of how race became developed both internationally and specifically within the context of American slavery. Oh, and one last thing. I'm aware that the creator that I'm responding to is going through some serious medical concerns, and so I will not be tolerating any comments about that in the comments section.
As an American, there are some things that you can truly never fully understand until you leave the United States. I moved out of the United States 2.5 years ago, and since then, there have been moments where certain things happen that completely and utterly break everything that I've ever known. And today, one of those things happened. I'm currently living in Germany, and very recently, I just got a part-time barista job. It's completely a part-time thing and just something for me to make some extra cash on the side. And I
Can
literally
we pause it?
more than 20 hours a week per my resident permit. And I haven't even started working yet, but
Thank you.
Yeah.
Real brief. People who are tuning in, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. This is the man in the high castle. And also, proud Americans, when you notice this woman right here, this female, notice that septum ring. There's a theory behind it. It doesn't matter what demographic she is of. When you see the septum ring, that's it.
That's all you have to say?
Yep.
there are some things about this job that have already broken me in a good way. As I'm in talks with the boss trying to get this job, I'm expecting like, okay, we'll do like an interview or something and they can see if they like me or not. And the boss emails me about like, they don't do like an interview, they do like a tryout day. And they're telling me like, come in for the tryout day and see if you like it and if you fit in with the environment well. And when I went in for the tryout day and like all went really well and stuff, the boss asked me at the end, so like if you feel good about this job, like if you like it, if it suits you well and you think you might want to stay here, then just like write me an email and let me know by like Tuesday or whatever. And they're not saying anything about like whether they even like me or not. Like all the focus seems to be on whether like I like the job and I want to stay there. Like I ended up having to ask like, well, do you like me? Like my German isn't so good. So like, is it okay or is it like a problem? Like, how do you feel like I fit in with the environment? And only then did I hear from the boss like, that, yeah, they liked me too. And then as we're going through the hiring process, like the first thing that they tell me is like, okay, the paperwork should be ready to sign in like 2 weeks. First things first, I need a little bit of information from you. And the first thing she asked me was, when do you want to take your vacation days this year? Literally the first thing that they asked me. Guess how many vacation days I get for a part-time 20-hour-a-week barista job? I am allotted 36 vacation days or 6 weeks in a 6-day work week schedule. 6 weeks. But the thing that broke me today was an email from my boss telling me that not only is it possible for me to go on the public healthcare system, but it's literally required for me to. For context, this has never been possible for me before. And since I turned 25 and moved outside of the United States, I've only been able to have essentially travel insurance. And now through the German public healthcare system, I can pay into it and then see pretty much any doctor that I want to, as long as they have an available appointment for free or pretty much free. And the amount that you pay into it is like 100 euros a month. I haven't been to a dentist in like 10 years. And I know that partially that's definitely my fault, but I literally through like the public health insurance, it's like required for you to go like twice a year. I was like kind of freaking out when I first got the email and I was like texting my German friends so that they could like help me understand better. And because like I translated it, but I was like, I don't
Stop
want
the
this to
cap.
be like a false translation or something and me get my hopes up for no reason. And they were like, congratulations, like, but I was like really overwhelmed by it and they were like, I don't understand what the big deal is. Like, yeah, of course, anyone in Germany who makes more than like 600 euros a month, they automatically can go on the public health insurance. And they're asking me like, what, you didn't know that? And I'm like, no, I did. Like, why would I have even expected that or thought to research something like that. We don't even have a public healthcare system like this. And a 20-hour-a-week barista gig would never give you social safety nets from. Why would I have ever thought to look something like that up? I'm used to a part-time job giving you nothing. I'm used to public healthcare not even really existing. I'm used to things being impossibly expensive. I'm used to things being intentionally made to be as difficult as possible to deter people from obtaining them. I'm used to things being unforgiving and uncaring and unhuman. Like, I can't believe how easy it was for me to obtain the essential care that every human being needs and deserves just by serving a little bit of coffee. Like, of course, you can read and research about other countries like as much as possible, but there's some things that you don't fully understand until you leave the United States. I'm so angry and full of grief that our government and our society and media and whoever else has convinced us that the way that we live is normal.
How did white people build the system that created racism? Great question. Let's break this down. Racism, as we know it today, is a construct. It didn't always exist in the way that we think of it now. It was developed to justify one thing: power. During European colonial expansion from the 15th century onward, white European powers needed an excuse to justify things like slavery, genocide, expansion, extraction, land theft, and exploitation. So they created a hierarchy: white at the top, everyone else below. This was then written into science, law, education, and obviously religion. It was then used to justify slavery, genocides, and the building of empires on stolen land. So that's what I mean when I say white people built the system. It doesn't mean that white people are responsible for what happened 400 years ago, but it does mean the system was built to benefit whiteness. And that benefit is still showing up strong in who gets access, who gets protected, and who gets punished. So if white people built the system, we white people certainly have a role to play in dismantling it. That's not blame, it's accountability and responsibility. I'm the anti-racist mum, and if you're ready to unlearn your social conditioning, hit the link in my bio for low-cost resources that will help you do just that. And keep following me for more uncomfortable truths.
Listen, I'm going to say this, and I swear to God, people need to stop reading AI. That was AI. She read it. She's a human, but she's reading AI. And you can tell when they're reading AI because, like, that's not the such and such. That's responsibility. That is AI. That is not how people talk. That is not such and such and such. That is responsibility. But let me just go back to this comment up here. Whites go out of their way to try not to be racist. Blacks receive minority scholarship grants and preferential hiring. They're catered to in this country. Blacks should stop bitching. Start thanking whites. How about the hundreds of thousands of whites who died in the Civil War to free blacks? What about them and their descendants? Give me a break. Whites are the most compassionate. Okay, so I read your thing. I hope you feel good about what you said. About white being compassionate. Okay, shouts out to the white compassionate people. I just want to read your thing, and I actually put my heart into it, so you can like really, hopefully I executed that reading of your comment at the best, and really hit the points. all the white people that was in the Revolutionary War. That's probably the problem, is everybody is always going back into the war and going back into slavery and trying to like relive that whole thing. See, that's the reason, back to slavery time. If you don't get the hell up out of here, bro. The white people in the Revolutionary War. You know, okay. Go ahead.
What I noticed about that woman is not only was she lying, I'm talking about the one with the red hair. It's the teeth for 10 years without a dentist. Her shit looks immaculate. Damn, you know, this is I'm not on Texas. I'm not on TikTok. None of that stuff. Maybe I will later in life, but there's a reason for it, and those are many of the reasons right there.
Right. And then people are reading AI. The last one was like just a straight AI read. Like, you really think she was that intelligent that she could? No, she put it on AI. She was reading it. That's not accountability. That is such and such. I mean, that's what AI does. Whenever AI, how you know a person is reading something off AI, they will start to listen. The reason why the slave trade didn't exist is because this. That's not sadness. That is happiness. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be this or that. You know, this is not this. It's that. And if it's not this and this is not that, then 1, 2, 3. It's like, I mean, it's like a robot. And I get so sick of, I mean, it's so obvious when people are reading off of AI. When they start saying that's not such and such, that's accountability, whatever the hell they're going to say. Because AI does, whenever you read any AI, it'll say, well, this is like the information, blah, blah. And that's not this, it's that. It's like, bro, that is AI. So you're reading AI, and it's so obvious. It's so ridiculously obvious you're reading AI because people do not talk like that. And so you'll think a person is sounding intelligent, but really they're just reading off of AI with their nose and big old nose and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So stop it. You know, anyway, let's go.
Suddenly, it looks like they are speaking for everyone's advantage. It looks like they're speaking for everyone's good. But it's not everyone. White folks create this system, and now they are regretting the system that they created, that it is not favoring them anymore. It is making them uncomfortable. You know, you hear one or two of them spoke about slavery, how it started. And as a matter of fact, they're blaming black folks for that. And we all know that this system was built by white folks to favor them, and now they're turning it around. They're saying something entirely different. White supremacy, who was it built for? Is it for black people? Are you guys with me? Oh my. So the tide is changing its direction, and it looks like it's not favoring them. Suddenly they began to speak up now. Why? Because some of them couldn't feed again. SNAP benefit is gone. EBT is gone. Medic aid, people can't really take care of themselves anymore. It's become so expensive because it's no longer free. There are white people that are in charge of the system took all those benefits away, and now they are speaking up saying that, oh, what has happened to us? Oh, this system that's been created is not good for kids anymore. You can hear what the senator said, or congressman. Yeah, he's a senator. He said, this system, can you answer me? You see a white person asking another white person that this system is not favoring them. Can she explain why they should continue with this system of education? But the question is, who put it in place in the first place?
I want to know who put this big old thing on his beard. Look at this beard right here. Oh
See,
my God,
white lady saying that
look at this.
all her life she's not
See this
used
right
to.
here? I can't even
I mean,
focus.
for too many years, she's not used to this.
Jesus, I can't focus. Like every time I look at this beard, it's like this big white thing right there. Child, listen, let me just say this. Look at this. Do you see this white thing right here? He's steady talking. And I'm like, dude, if you don't wipe whatever that is
System
up your beard.
given back to her that public health can be free. But they told her in another country she went to, and she was like, she was tearing. She was like, she couldn't believe that
I'm hoping
she
when he
could have
puts his
access to
hand up,
that,
it
and that
just swipes
that
it
she all her
down.
life she's used to being told no. She's used to being she's used to paying for everything. She wants healthcare delivery system, and she's like, she's trained. And now the question is, who put that in place? She's an American. She went to Germany, and the question is, who put the system in place? All of this system were put in place against the black people to make the black people disadvantaged. But in the long run, over the years, when all of them system comes, another system comes, another politician comes, another one goes, they continue in the rhetorics. But recently, I mean, a new guy who knew not Joseph came into the system and began to change everything. And it looks like, hey, I don't care. There's been a lot of misappropriation of fund. There's been a lot of mismanagement of fund, and it began to change everything. And of course, they now began to like, oh, so this thing is not good.
Ciao. And I feel like I'm listening to a Jamaican patois. What are you saying? All right, so let me just wrap this whole thing up. I think I'm bored at this point. Listen, it's crazy that you have white people on TikTok blaming slavery on the slaves. No, it was a black person that had the first slave. No, it was a white person. No, I don't know. It was the black people. And I don't understand. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, if this was the first person, it don't exclude the fact that after that, what happened after that though? If I say I was the first person that did it and then you completely like took that over and did it even bigger, what difference do it make who was the first? No, it was he had the first slave for life. But then we took over and we had a slave for life too. Like what hello? You know? Man, this guy was the best break dancer, but we was break dancing too. Bottom line is that, okay, you could like say that this guy was a number one slave owner and this, that, the other. But does it erase everything else? Like, what are you saying? Even, I don't know if it's true or not that he was the number one slave owner and then the guy and life as a slave. And then the white people got let go or whatever. Bottom line is slavery's continued from there. And white people was running rickshaw in slavery, just crazy. People was trying to escape. They were not always compliant. Burning down slave houses, all type of wild stuff, you know? So I would say this is that to try to say, well, y'all did it too, is not an excuse for what happened. Stop it. That's like two kids. Well, my brother did it, so therefore, so that doesn't excuse you. If you listen, if we both go and rob a bank, right? You can't be like, well, he robbed the bank too, and then I get a lesser sentence. Y'all both wrong. What the hell are you talking about? So she thought that she ate with that, with the first black slave. She got the facts and everything. In 1982, in 1892, in this courthouse, this and that happened, and then it was the first ever black slave that ever owned. Okay, and then what happened after that? What happened if even okay? So if blacks were the first slave owners, what happened after that? And then what? Honey, we be the first to do a lot of shit. Honey, we were the first to pop lock. We were the first to like sing some R&B tunes. What happened after that? We was the first to be rapping. We were the first to like be doing breakdancing. I mean, so what? But then what happened? Did it get like gentrified and turned into its own thing? Like, was the slavery then turned into the white version of slavery? Just like it happens to be like a person can be pop locking, and then there's like a, I'm not going to like talk because there's some really good pop lockers, white pop lockers out there. But I'm just trying to say is that I don't know if the slavery that this guy was enacted on his slave is the same as the slavery that the white man was doing. It might have been, who knows? Bottom line is, it does not erase the fact that slavery existed. So to bring up whatever white black man that was the first black slave owner, and he's the reason why. I mean, monkey see, monkey do. So y'all saying y'all was actually following the black man's lead? Is that what you're saying? That the black man started the slavery, and then y'all just follow what he was doing. So yeah, so even in slavery, there was nothing original. Even slavery wasn't original. Y'all got everything that y'all got from us, including slavery. Shouts out to the original. Nevertheless, I got to go to bed because I'm tired. If you want to say some last words, I'm about to go to bed. Go ahead. Man in High Castle, you want to say something?
Yes, good evening, DJ Genesis. This is a great show tonight. Everybody, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, share. You can see that Brother Johnson or the Book of Johnson is coming up next. And then you have a Marriage in Ephah episode coming up shortly after that. Stay tuned. The man in the high castle also wants to know for certain this government shutdown is still continuing. Americans, I have warned you several times. It's time to tighten up. It's only going to go longer. It's going to go into just around 90 days or so. But know for certain, this is not game over. There's more to come. Get ready. All I can say, proud Americans, the man in the high castle has been on many platforms. However, I'm revisiting on the humble. I like to see projects grow. I like to see projects be successful. I like to see projects become humble in their success. And this channel is a project of the man in the high castle. So stay tuned for more great content.
Ashe. It's also a project of DJ Joseph Detroit. And so, like he said, yes, coming up tomorrow we have the Book of Johnson, and we're gonna be talking about, is sovereignty real? And this is not the first time we've had the Book of Johnson on the channel. This will be the second time. The first time he got really into the Mormon church, the Moors, everything. And so the next thing is he's going to be breaking down sovereignty. Now, if anyone is aware, we did a whole show from these lawyers called the Pot Brothers, where they were telling you to shut the F up, right? When you get pulled over, shut the F up. You ask them a certain thing, you just say this, you say that. But Book of Johnson is saying, hold on. If you're sovereign, that's not the same thing as what you would say. So that's going to be a very interesting show tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about Ifa. Normally on a Friday, we would do like a show about divination with Baba Falakun, but he just did an initiation this week. So he's gonna like take a little time off to like regroup, and hopefully we'll be able to resume next week. But in the meantime, we have these 2 shows coming up. Please support the channel. Please like and subscribe. I appreciate everybody for sticking through with us up until this point. Much love and peace. You had something to say? I mean, I heard.
I was going to point out this last part about this new Baba. Out of all the Babas that I've seen on the program and heard, I'm only going to give an analogy. I've seen people in real life complain about, hey man, there's too much cut in this product that I got. They basically got beat for their money. However, then you hear about some fella, he never gets beat. His stuff is never stomped on. This Baba appears, out of all the Baba, to have the Charlie Sheen hookup. He has some good product. And the past Babas, they seem like they were getting the Whitney Houston product. That's all. It's the way the things are delivered, confidence. He appears to have it. That's all I'm going to point out.
I will say this, is that okay. Much love to all the Babas that come to my channel. No one is better than the other. They all come with their knowledge, and I appreciate whatever knowledge that they bring to the channel. Much love and respect. Peace, guys.
Just when I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, if you believe in the God in you, it's a better place. Creating the force and the power to live a better. Just know that love and joy and peace is one in all of the same space. That you were chosen just like God. That's right. Only you can make the change. Shake your head at you. Shine so bright from darkness to light. From darkness to light. Yeah. And you'll find your